everyone, and welcome to the Nerd Room, where we talk all things comics and movies. This is episode number 19. We're discussing Marvel's comic book event, Civil War. I'm one of your hosts, Tim.
I'm Troy.
We are 2 weeks out. Just inside 2 weeks.
Yeah.
From seeing Captain America, Civil War.
Oh, boy. It's going down so soon.
Yeah, and
right?
some of you out there are getting it early.
Yeah.
We're jealous here, super jealous.
Goodness.
But what we're going to do today is we're going to talk the Civil War comic book event. So this is Marvel's 2006-2007 big event. This is we were talking just before. Mm-hmm. This is one of those events that kind of kicked off the Marvel event.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And we've been getting crazy big events ever since. Yeah. And I have to say, this is probably one of their most well done. And not everyone shares this opinion, but I really thoroughly enjoy this event.
Absolutely.
And it's one of the first ones I read coming in. I got the trade, and then I subsequently went back and got everything else attached to it.
Nice.
Like a crazy person.
Yeah, it's a big jumping in point, right? For newcomers, for long-existing fans,
Yeah.
it's a great buy-in and read, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And a lot of stuff culminates in it, and then a lot of stuff kind of spurs out of that really sends you right through until the end of the Bendis era.
Yeah. Yeah,
we get
definitely.
the Secret Avengers, the Initiative, all that kind of stuff. I think right up to Age of Ultron, really.
Yeah,
And
it's huge.
that kind of closes out this era of the Avengers, of Cap and Iron Man story. And so, we're going to be going through that in all sorts of detail.
Diving right into it, yeah.
Yeah. As always, we're going to kick it off here with a little bit of news.
Oh, yeah.
A little bit of Star Wars Episode 8 news.
Of course, you can't do the show without Star Wars talk.
Yes, come on. It's Star Wars. So it looks like the script for Episode 8 was potentially leaked.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts? Did you check it out?
I stayed away from this one. I stayed away as it did peek a little bit at the upcoming costumes for Rey and Luke, which look incredible. You see, that's awesome that you stayed away from.
Are they good? Like, they look just give me
cool.
like
they're pretty cool. You know, Luke's it's a little reminiscent of a Count Dooku with Return of the Jedi Luke. It's awesome.
What?
Yeah, it's really cool. Rey's is pretty similar to what we saw at the end of Force Awakens.
Okay.
Except they just removed the vest, I believe. But it's kind of like a play on Luke's Episode 4 attire.
Okay.
So I really like that design. But as for the script leak, every movie script leak I stay away from.
Yeah.
Star Wars was the hardest one to stay away from, though.
I'm going nowhere near this.
Yeah.
I didn't even click on the articles that talked about it.
Yeah.
And I was just like, I can't go near this. Because not only does it kind of wreck your experience, if there's something in there you don't like, that's all you're going to focus on and think about.
Exactly. Yeah.
And we don't know if this is real, or there might be elements of the story that are in there that are part of a larger script, or something that was, maybe this was our first draft or something.
That's right.
And we're still, I guess they are filming, but they're tweaking as they go, right? This is something I want to experience in the theaters.
Oh, of course, yeah.
And it's Star Wars. Like, it's about these big kind of surprises. And I don't want that experience taken away from me.
No, definitely not. No, it's horrible. I feel sorry for anybody that actually read into that. I hope it's false. Maybe it's just a fake leak. Maybe it's just to kind of throw people's attention somewhere else.
If you did go and read it, please just keep it to yourself.
Keep it to yourself. Don't tweet it. Don't Instagram it.
No, do that for your own enjoyment if that's something that you like. Because there's people that are out there that like to have as much information as possible.
Absolutely.
Like, I listen to some guys in some podcasts, and they're really they'll go to the Wikipedia page before they go see, say, Civil War, and read everything. They'll know the whole plot going in. And they like that aspect of knowing more than the person next to them, right?
Yeah.
But for me, I'm all about this in-movie experience.
Yeah,
like, definitely. I did not see that coming.
I gotta be surprised,
exactly.
Right? Yeah.
And so this really ruins it. So I'm really hoping, that it's not something that's actually real.
That's brutal. Because I was pretty disappointed when I kind of got Batman versus Superman spoiled a little bit. I found out a little something about Superman going into that, which just, it took away a lot from that scene.
We were almost anticipating things as it's, okay, I got to get to the point where Superman dies.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
And it's like this with Star Wars. You're like, oh, I know something big's going to happen.
Yeah.
And you're just kind of being like, okay, let's get to that. I know it's going to happen.
You're just counting the beats.
Exactly. I want to get beyond that so that I'm surprised at the story again.
Of course, yeah.
We were talking a couple weeks ago about Force Friday.
Yes.
And the rumored date is the end of September 30th, I believe.
Cool, okay.
Of this year. And there's also rumors going around as to what the first wave, the Black Series 6-inch, is going to be released on Force Friday. So very similar to what we had with the release of the Force Awakens Black Series 6-inch figures.
Oh, okay.
So we're getting kind of a 6-figure line that will consist of...
Oh boy, get your lawn chairs ready.
Yeah. Shut up, computer. It's going to consist of a Rey and BB-8 repack.
Oh, okay.
So... Shut up.
Yeah, because BB-8 came with Rey initially, right? Originally.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, and then we're going to have a Kylo Ren, a new mold.
Oh.
So something a little different. Probably going to look very, very similar, especially if you're an in-the-box collector.
Yeah, you think it'd be maskless or helmetless?
I don't know.
Yeah.
That's interesting, possibly. So
he has that good hair, right?
Yeah, he does have fantastic hair. And then we also have from Rogue One, Jyn Erso. So Felicity Jones' character.
Yes.
And then we have a Rogue One Stormtrooper.
Oh, you got to get that.
Yeah, my fingers are crossed that it is a Black Hole Stormtrooper or whatever they call them.
The Death Trooper or whatever. Cool.
Oh, that would be amazing. I'm sure we'll get one eventually, and this might just be your standard issue Stormtrooper.
Right.
But
even going back to the classic original.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
Cool.
So definitely that's going in the cart.
Oh, yeah.
And we got a medical droid.
Oh, okay.
Not specified if this is like a Empire Strikes Back medical droid or something from, I don't know, the prequels or something.
There's a lot of those in the prequels.
Yeah,
right?
exactly. Or something even from Rogue One.
Right.
And then they have this Rogue One SEAL Team male figure, which is Forrest Whitaker's figure.
Oh.
Forrest Whitaker's character.
Yeah. Okay, so they confirmed it's his?
Yeah, so this is just the rumors.
Oh, okay.
I got this from Jedi News. I don't know if they got the codes or whatever from a Walmart or Toys R Us.
Right. They're Jedis though, so we just gotta believe them.
Just gotta believe all that, right? No, so it's super exciting to see and hear that we're starting to get information about these waves. And it looks like it's gonna be a lot more of, for The Force Awakens, it was all Force Awakens characters, right? In all the waves, up until basically we got Jango Fett.
Yeah, that's right.
And then, so this one looks like it's going to be a mixture. We're going to see kind of original trilogy mixed in with some of the fan favorites are coming out. Yeah. So the Darth Revan is and the Sabine as well. So they're
from
both
Rebels, we're getting Old Republic.
Yeah.
So does this mean Revan's canon then? Like this would have to, take him away from the legends and put him into the canon universe, you think? Off of these toys?
So this was a fan favorite.
Oh, they did like a voting kind of. Okay.
That's why that was in there. So they honored kind of the Legends universe. Because Kylo Ren and Darth Revan kind of look a bit the same.
Oh, like the body mold?
Yeah.
Kind of?
Well, I think even the whole character.
Oh, okay, the helmet and everything, a little bit.
Yeah, a little reminiscent of that.
Slightly, yeah.
So it'd be interesting if they actually did bring him into.
Oh, I'm hoping so. Rebel Season 3, make it happen.
So it's exciting to see that. Like you said, we're going to have our launchers out there.
Yep.
We're definitely doing the midnight sale.
Oh, yeah.
We'll see if they bring in a little more stock. Because they had issues last year with Force Friday. It was only kind of like, we were only supposed to get one, but Troy and I managed to walk out of the store 2 Black Series 6-inch.
Yeah, sorry, guy behind us.
Yeah, that guy was pissed.
Yeah, so coming up to Force Friday, we'll definitely, have some tweets out there for you guys to come meet us. That'd be awesome. We can all hang out and just talk Star Wars. That'd be sweet.
That's it.
Yeah.
So we were talking last week a lot about MCU speculation, particularly Phase 3.
Yeah.
And we're kind of running down the docket. I think when I went back and re-listened to it, I think we asked more questions than anything else. Like, what do you think this would happen? And then it was kind of like, I don't know.
No answers. We're waiting for you guys to answer them.
Exactly. But it looks like they've kind of made a move on the slate. And this is something that Marvel has yet to do. They've only added movies to their slate, and they've yanked one off. Inhumans is now off of the slate.
Yes.
So it no longer has a release date. The movie's still there, but doesn't have an official release date anymore. And that was pulled out of a July 12th, 2019 date.
Wow. Yeah.
And so that leaves that space open, and presumably Marvel's held on to that. And so that only leaves 2 movies in 2018. So we get Captain Marvel in March.
Yep.
And then we get the conclusion of the Infinity War saga.
Oh, Part 2.
Infinity War Part 2 on May 3rd, 2019.
Cool. See, it's interesting because Disney also has Indiana Jones.
Yes.
Right, at the same time. And I think initially they were meant to have Inhumans, was it between?
Yeah. So, that's something we talked a bit about last week is it kind of now falls outside of the Infinity War saga. And how does that all fit in?
Right.
And like we kind of talked last week, it's one of those movies that it seems a bit out there, right?
Yeah.
I know we talked like Guardians is out there and all that kind of stuff, but like when you look at it relative to Captain Marvel and Black Panther, Ant-Man and the Wasp, it's one of those movies that it doesn't really fit in with Marvel's current slate.
Yeah.
And it would be nice, I guess, to have something different. You're getting a lot more characters, but at the same time, there's still this huge thread that's being pulled through Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yes.
And we don't really know where that exactly is going and how that would impact the overall movie.
Right.
Because I'm presuming that Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. can't use guys like Black Bolt, Medusa, Lockjaw.
Exactly.
It is kind of something that you could kind of see coming from a distance. It was not so much telegraphed, but it just always seemed to be this sore thumb.
That's a weaker link, right?
Yeah.
Do you think going forward then maybe, because by then, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. must be up there in seasons by then, maybe it cancels, or not cancels, but they end the season, the show, series, and we launch off Inhumans, the TV series? Maybe
it's quite possible because it's a lot of leftover characterization and plot lines and history that they're building within Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Right.
you can't really ignore, because like it's supposed to be still part of the MCU.
Exactly.
And they do make ties to it, and apparently there's a Civil War tie, and I said, cool. I'm still not caught up on it.
Yeah.
But
Season 3 they're in right now, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So okay. I don't know what they're actually going to do. Yeah. Maybe they're kind of like, our fans do like our continuity, and we don't really know what we're going to do here. And I know 2019 still weighs out. Maybe they're just having trouble getting a story going.
Yeah.
And the adaptability of it from the comics might be a little more difficult than some of the other movies.
That's true. There's speculation going on up there, though, too, that maybe Marvel has something up their sleeves that we don't know about, and it could be Doctor Doom. Could it be Fantastic Four is going to be back at home for Phase 4?
Just imagine that, because that's,
it'd be huge.
This should be
lines up.
The first movie of Phase 4.
Exactly. So what other better way to do it? So I've seen a little speculation like that on the internet. Maybe Phase 4, Fantastic Four. It'd be incredible. I'm totally on board with that idea. If that's the case, I would love that.
And you could put a Spider-Man 2 in there.
Exactly.
You could put a Guardians of the Galaxy 3 in there.
Right.
So there's all kinds of options.
So much stuff they can do, but with going into Phase 4, they really need to launch that next big bad. Right?
Yeah, they do. They need to start seeding that.
Yeah.
And go back an episode and listen. Actually, we asked a lot of questions about it. And, maybe we'll answer those someday.
Yeah. So, that's interesting news. Yeah. Do you feel bad about Inhumans not being in there now? Or
out of all of the movies on Marvel's slate, that is the one that I'm kind of like pretty indifferent to. And now that it's off the slate, I'm not really that bothered by it.
Yeah.
The story in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is fine. And I think that's an appropriate forum for developing a story like that.
Okay.
And it's a great way to bring in kind of superhuman powers without having everyone kind of getting bitten by something or falling into nuclear waste or doing. It's an easy way to develop a guy that can do whatever, like blow fire out of his hands.
And have long hair.
Yeah, exactly.
Rapunzel powers.
So I think it's an effective plot device there to kind of thrust that into kind of more of a science fiction sort of world. But at the same time, would I like to see it on film? Sure.
Yeah.
And if anyone can do something like that, it's Marvel. They've got a proven track record for taking and adapting comic books that are maybe somewhat out there and putting a good film on screen. But maybe they just felt like this isn't the movie that we feel like we can make. X-Men's going down a certain path, and it's very similar to the X-Men, but not without the character recognition.
Exactly.
So that's the difficulty of it. And I know that I think Vin Diesel might have been... He's always talking about...
Thunderbolt or Black Bolt?
Black Bolt, yeah.
Right. How's the push been in the comics? Like, are people, embracing these Inhumans yet still? I mean, I read the comics, but I've never been an Inhumans person.
No, and it's hard to say. I don't know. They seem to be continually getting books, but not to the same level as X-Men. There's, I think, one or two Uncanny Inhumans. They're kind of mixed into the Unity Squad, the Uncanny Avengers.
Right. I think, is Medusa an A-Force as well? Or
she's an A-Force. Yeah. And so they seem to be pulling these characters out of their individual books and putting them in as kind of support characters.
Yeah.
Because it's something that I tried to get into, right? Because it was at the end of Infinity, the 2013 event, I think, the Thanos one.
Thanos, yep.
And that's when Black Bolt lit off the big Terrigen bomb and all that. And I was like, okay, I'm going to get into this. This is really cool. There's going to be a push for this in the movies. We're going to see this in the TV shows. So I'm on full board, and I could not get into it.
Yeah.
And again, it comes down to the characters. It was just... They're so different. And these are characters that have been around forever.
I remember Medusa appearing in like the old 1964 Spiderman. Spider-Man. They've been around for a very, very long time.
Black Bolt's been around forever. And so these are like...
I think they're introduced in Fantastic Four.
Yeah, right? Exactly. Yeah. So these are like Marvel mainstays.
Yeah.
And they've been in and out of continuity for decades. Yeah. But this recent kind of iteration of them, I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's just me. Maybe people love them. But I'm looking at the book counts, and I was expecting this explosion of Inhuman books.
Yeah.
And it's kind of really been pulled down because I thought they were going to make Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver in here.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. I thought that would have been like the genius move to do. Yeah. And then they just made them the miracle.
Well, just something that Loki's staff basically created, right? And the Baron von Strucker was their creation. So they're just like genetic manipulation or something like that, right?
So that was kind of weak. My favorite moment of the Inhumans is Black Bolt's scene with Black Panther in the countdown events to Secret Wars. Yeah. When they both take out Submariner or Namor. Oh, that was brilliant, that scene. Good. Yeah. Yeah, we'll see what happens with that, I guess.
Yeah, it'll be interesting.
Yeah.
And sticking with the MCU, so humongous news drop. Yeah. And again, we talked a bit about this last week about Marvel characters, these actors more, guys like Robert Downey Jr. becoming support characters in the larger MCU.
Yes.
and drops right after we did a recording. Robert Downey Jr. signs on to Spider-Man Homecoming.
Awesome. Yeah,
Like, how great is that?
This is great. Yeah, it's the perfect push they need to really, like, I mean, they're already going to establish that Spider-Man is part of the MCU after this Civil War movie, but now we're going to see, Robert Downey Jr., Tony Stark in the Sony Spider-Man Marvel film, which is going to be great.
Which is something that, like, if you had said that a year ago, you would have been like, you're friggin' crazy.
Yeah.
There's no way they're going to put their top dog
exactly
into a Sony film.
Right. All right.
And,
but it makes total sense, though, too, now thinking about it. It just gives it that much of a better push.
Yeah.
I don't think he'll be in the suit, though. I think he'll probably make an appearance as just, Tony Stark, billionaire.
So I think we'll talk about this when we get into the Civil War review. So we're going to do a bit of speculation and prediction as to how well we think Civil War comic event is going to be adapted, or not how well, what aspects of it are going to be pulled. Yeah,
okay.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I think that there's an aspect of Tony Stark, Iron Man, that is going to pull through the MCU post-Civil War.
Cool.
So we talk about that. So it ties a bit into this signing on. And, it's a bit of a spoiler because people were questioning whether or not Tony Stark was going to bite it.
Yeah.
And so there's that possibility, but now he's signed on here, unless it's a massive curveball.
Yeah.
But probably not. Yeah. So it does throw that aspect in there that, yes, Tony Stark does make it through Civil War.
Yes.
But in what capacity is he going to be in Spider-Man and part of the MCU?
Right.
So I thought, Robert Downey Jr., man, he must be just seeing dollar signs.
Oh, my goodness.
Like, because he's going to be in, like, 3 or 4 consecutive years of Marvel movies.
Wow.
It is one movie a year. It probably makes $50 million a year. He spends kind of the back half of the year filming or whatever, and then he does some promo stuff up close to the movie where he's traveling all over the place.
Oh, yeah.
And, like, his Instagram right now is awesome.
Oh, is it incredible,
Yeah,
eh?
he's just, because he's traveling to the promo stuff, and he's just so into the character.
That's really good to see, eh? Just him, guys like him and Hugh Jackman that just embrace the roles and just appreciate it. That's awesome.
Yeah, and I'll be not shocked, but he'll be the kind of guy, I think he's going to play this character right until he can't act anymore.
Nice. Yeah,
and,
that's awesome.
It's awesome.
And I have no problem with that at all.
No, me neither. So we have this other Marvel movie coming out at the end of the month, a little one called X-Men Apocalypse.
Oh, yeah.
Which for the two of us is kind of...
It's been a tough sell, tough buy. Yeah.
And so we had our third and final trailer drop.
Yes.
For X-Men Apocalypse. My buddy Elliot, he texted me this morning, was like, "Oh my god!"
Yeah, he's someone I really want to hear his thoughts on this.
So he's
movie.
Actually, I talked to him. He's going to come on the podcast towards the end of the month because he is a super X-Men fanboy. And like I've mentioned before, he's read X-Men comics in the '90s, so he was there when the X-Men were everything to Marvel.
Yeah.
And so he absolutely, and like this is when Apocalypse was big, and we got like the true team coming out of the '92 series.
Man.
And so he's going to come on and do some X-Men fanboying for us.
Cool.
He's going to come in and review the movie with us too.
Nice.
So he's really looking forward to that. But he is just so jacked for this movie. So it's interesting to see how like you kind of adhere to different aspects of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I'm calling this as a whole, kind of including Fox and all that. Yeah, for me, like this trailer again, like it's Apocalypse is looking better.
He is looking better. Yeah.
So it looks like he evolves through it. The movie.
It looks like that's what they're doing with him, eh?
Yeah. They're kind of giving away a bit more of the plot line, so kind of spoilers here for those that don't want to hear it or aren't watching the trailers anymore. I figured I don't really have much to lose here. I'm still looking for something to grab me.
Yeah.
And I got it at the end of this trailer.
Yeah.
I think. But it looks like Professor X is going to be basically, again, pushed aside.
Yeah, kidnapped.
Yeah.
Damsel in distress.
Exactly. Like every movie.
Yeah, Professor X. Yeah.
And we're getting some cool stuff with the young X-Men.
Yeah, like that. That's one of my highlights. We get more Cyclops, more Jean Grey, which I love because they need that light shined on them a little bit more in this franchise.
And it looks like Mystique, Jennifer Lawrence's character there, is taking over the team to some degree.
Yeah. See that? I think that's horrible. I'd love to hear Elliot's response to that or his actions, what he thinks about that, because I think bringing a Mystique who's been like a bad guy through and through the comic series, and even in this franchise she's been a little shaky. You never know where she lies, and now she's leading the X-Men and training Cyclops. Like, I think that's a horrible idea. And again, still Jennifer Lawrence show. It's like she's not even really in the Mystique costume or skin,
It's interesting to see how they explain that, why she isn't sitting in her kind of true mutant form.
Yeah. Did you notice the one thing in the trailer between her and Nightcrawler? When Nightcrawler looks at her and he's like, "Hey, you're her." Because in the comics, they're, mother and child.
Is there? Right. Yeah, do you think they're alluding to some of that? Because, like, I think they would have or at least Jennifer or Mystique's character would have known that she had a child. Like,
well, that's just it.
And there's never any sort of allusion to that.
No, because like in going back to First Class, I forgot the guy's name, but he's the red guy, the devil-looking dude. That's Nightcrawler's dad. Like at least in the comics, that's his dad, and Mystique was the mom, and Mystique abandoned Nightcrawler. And Nightcrawler was raised in the circus and found religion.
Name's on the tip of my tongue.
Ezekiel.
Yeah, Azazel.
Yeah. So and then the age just doesn't line up, right? Like you look at Jennifer Lawrence, maybe she's like 32 pushing it, and that's being nice. And Nightcrawler looks like he's about 16.
Yeah, so we're thinking like teenage pregnancy.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So, yeah.
And then we also get the illusion that, or the actual confirmation that Quicksilver, his father, is Magneto.
Yeah.
So that looks like a nice little moment here. I think Quicksilver is going to be the comic relief of this.
Yeah, definitely.
That's a good character. I kind of enjoyed him.
Yeah, he surprised me. I didn't think I was going to like him as more than the other one in Age of Ultron.
Yeah.
But I loved him way more.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. He's one of the bright spots.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be in this movie. The movie looks okay.
Yeah.
I just can't get into it.
Yeah.
But I said there was one hook.
Yes, or 3 hooks. Yes. Or 3 claws.
At the very end, we get the confirmation that yes, Wolverine is in this movie.
Yeah. So which is cool, except it's spoiled from Hugh Jackman the day before because I saw it on Instagram there. It's cool. I kind of feel like it's like their Spider-Man moment, their Luke Skywalker moment. They're holding on to this big character and release him at the end of the trailer. But for me, I wasn't surprised because I already saw the thing. But it's cool.
You think they should save that?
No, I think they needed to. I think they need to sell the movie more to the general audience. That's kind of like, where's Wolverine?
That gets me in the seat opening night.
Yeah.
I would have seen this probably opening night anyways, but that for sure, because in First Class, when Wolverine was in that, they never, was just there, right? Yeah. And that was one of my favorite parts of the movie. Great movie, but I kind of I love Hugh Jackman in that role.
Yes.
And then just seeing, like, they come in and they're like, whoa, you guys have been busy, and he's kind of like, we had a little bit of help in here.
Yeah, that's so cool, and I really hope they nail the banter again between Cyclops, Scott Summers, and Wolverine. They did a great job in the old series. I'd love to see those two.
That's going to be interesting because, I guess Wolverine's always kind of looked old compared to Scott Summers, right?
Yeah, or at least Wolverine's always been this kind of age.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see chemistry between those two. Because that kid, I can't remember the name of the kid playing Scott Summers, but he's a pretty good actor. I saw him in Mud way back with Matthew McConaughey, and he's great.
So do you think he can hold his old bantering with Hugh Jackman?
I think he could. Yeah. Oh, definitely. I really think he could. And we all know the girl that plays Jean Grey from Game of Thrones is incredible. So it's a great cast. The trailer wasn't even that bad. I'm just kind of worried about the movie. Now knowing that Jennifer Lawrence is the Phil Jackson of the X-Men, I'm not really impressed. Yeah.
No, so like I said, it's one of those movies, we're going to go see it.
Yeah.
But I'm not stoked for it.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if I'm just so into Civil War right now.
Right.
Once we get on the other side of that, that's going to be our next big movie.
Definitely.
And maybe I'll jump into it a bit more. But I've always been pulled back a bit from X-Men too. Like I've never jumped headfirst into that universe. Because I think I mentioned before, I always see Marvel as 3 separate universes. You have your Avengers universe, your X-Men universe, and your Spider-Man universe.
Exactly.
And you pick one of those 3.
Exactly.
And that's the one that you concentrate on. Yeah, you supplement and you pick up from other parts of the Marvel comic universe. But your mainstay is one. Either you're an X-Men guy, you're an Avengers guy, or a Spider-Man guy.
Yeah, or Fantastic Four.
Yeah, I guess that's another one you can stick in there. Not so much anymore.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's good to see that we're getting these X-Men movies coming out, but I'd just like to see a little more behind it. I don't feel it.
Yeah, I know. I've said this before. Like, I'm kind of a sucker because I see the promos every time, and it never impresses me. And then the movie comes out, and they got me. Yeah. Like, I loved First Class. I love Days of Future Past, and maybe this one will do it for me too.
Do you think it's because it feels like the same story again?
Yeah.
Like the world's ending. There's another mutant here that's here to destroy us.
Exactly.
It's doom and gloom. Everything's blowing up.
Yeah.
We gotta get the team together. We'll save the day.
Always.
End the show. We'll tease for the next movie.
Yeah, they kind of have a formula going. It's just the big bad mutant comes around and he wants things his way.
Yeah.
And, you're either with me or against me kind of thing.
Yeah, and I know people will say that, like, the Marvel movies have a formula to them and they follow that, but it's different. I just, there's something about the X-Men that just seems so familiar that it's kind of a bit boring to me.
Well, I feel like Marvel has structure. Like, they know what they're going in for. Yeah. They know what they're going to do. They know what the end game is. Whereas X-Men, I feel like they're always trying to retcon something.
Yeah.
They're always trying to fix the mistakes of the past movie.
Yeah.
They're always trying to do that. And I'm just like, just establish something and stick to it and grow the characters.
And maybe this will be it. Maybe this will be the launching of the Scott Summers, Jean Grey, that young crowd. Because they're young actors. They're relatively unknown.
Yeah.
And you got Nightcrawler in there. Mm-hmm. And the guys maybe a guy like Beast, who's been in the the movies, he's a really good actor, but he's not like super A+ class kind of guy. Yeah. So he can still be part of this universe and kind of be that continuity thread that runs through that into the new X-Men.
Yeah, I'm hoping so. Absolutely.
Wait and see.
We'll see. Maybe Deadpool will show up at the end and save the day.
That would, I would not be surprised. It's kind of it'd have to be a post credit that I don't know how to do that.
For sure.
Or how crazy or how awesome it would be if he showed up and him and Cable.
Oh, right. Like if Deadpool just showed up and Cable's like, no, wrong film, let's go. And just takes him where.
Yeah, exactly.
That'd be sweet.
They show up time traveling.
Yeah.
And Deadpool's like, what the?
That'd be cool. Yeah.
I met you before and you were a real dick. That'd be great. That'd be great. Speaking of Deadpool, really, I looked at this a couple times. I was like, when did Deadpool come out? February?
Right. Yeah, it was February. I checked it the other, I think it was a couple days ago. Okay. It was February, it came out in theaters.
So it's like this week, the digital HD copy drops.
Crazy.
So you can, it's 2 weeks before the physical copy, and I'm waiting around for the Steelbook.
Yeah.
But you can buy Deadpool on iTunes on the 26th.
That's awesome. That's fast.
It's so fast. I looked at it, I was like, I've definitely written this down wrong. There's no way this has come out in 2 months.
Especially, I think
Less than 2 months.
The movie's like, what, 700,000 or 700 million now worldwide, I think? It's huge.
Yeah, I guess it mustn't be in theaters anymore. I don't know.
I don't think it is.
It's like it might have got run out by other movies, but I cannot believe how quick things are coming out.
Yeah, that's, wow.
I guess it's getting out before the summer and that, but...
Yeah, I guess so. The crazy thing is, too, they're releasing a VHS for this movie, which is going to be...
Is that an April Fool's thing?
I heard it's true. I heard it's like a limited release of the VHS box set. Or, box, because there's only one movie. Yeah.
Would you buy it?
I kind of would. I think it's kind of funny just to be like, hey, like, if you had the box set in here, that'd look awesome. For sure.
I only know one human on Earth that has a VHS player still. And it's my dad.
Oh, wow.
So I'd have to take it. That would be interesting, because there was a limited release of the Guardians of the Galaxy, the Awesome Mix Volume 1.
Oh, cassette.
Yeah, the cassette.
Cool.
So they limited it. I don't know if it was Mondo or who did it, released it, and you could actually buy it. I think it's worth a fortune now.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, but you could buy like the proper cassette. Yeah. Also, to kind of wrap up the news here, so we had our first images of the Netflix series Iron Fist.
Yeah.
So we had the main actor, the guy playing Iron Fist himself. He had him running around and kind of looking a bit crazy on the streets of New York, I guess. Bare feet, kind of wild hair, wild beard.
Yeah.
So it'd be interesting. It's kind of cool to see this movie kind of getting off, because it seems to have had some problems getting going.
Yeah.
And so this looks like it'll probably come out after Luke Cage drops.
That makes sense.
So in about a year's time,
that makes sense. And I'm sure we'll see him appear in Luke Cage or something, because those two are buddies, eh?
Yeah. And that's another couple guys you see in Civil War, actually, in the comic series. Doing a little bit of secret avenging.
That's right. Yeah.
So
that's interesting. That's good stuff.
Yeah, it's cool to see this constantly evolving Netflix world, and the fact that they are moving forward with these things. And they seem to somewhat fly under the radar, and then all of a sudden they're filming.
They're right there. Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, it's really good to see these characters, like these C-B-listers, getting attention, and a TV series dedicated towards these guys to grow. It's awesome.
Yeah, and like it's one of these characters you're probably never going to see them on film. Like a guy like Luke Cage, maybe you would get him as kind of a side character or a partner or something like that, but never the amount of development that he's actually gotten already in the Jessica Jones series, and now his own series dropping soon.
Exactly,
which is going to be. I'm looking so forward to that. Luke Cage coming in out of this Brian Michael Bendis kind of Civil War era. Luke Cage has just shone through a good chunk of this, and he's one of Bendis' favorite characters.
Yeah,
he got a chance to lead the New Avengers, the Secret Avengers, and I'm really looking forward to that.
Yeah, that's going to be awesome. Yeah, Power Man,
and Iron Fist, Heroes for Hire.
Yeah, and he's coming down to the Calgary Expo too.
Yeah. So we're going to see him in a couple days.
Oh yeah,
looking forward to that.
Oh yeah.
Speaking of the Calgary Expo, they actually dropped the programming and the visitation or appearance schedules for all the media guests.
Nice.
So I was just running through here, and for those of you that are able to attend it, again, we talked about it last week. It's a fantastic event. Get out there, get to the con. They're almost all sold out here in Calgary. I think they're like 95% sold out.
Yeah.
It's looking like Friday. We get to meet the 501st, so the Alberta Garrison.
Yeah.
So these guys are out there, and also William Shatner showing up.
Nice.
So he's doing some appearances and also a big panel, kind of a spotlight panel.
Cool.
Saturday, which looks like one of the better days, we have the... One thing I have to recommend is you got to check out the costume contest. And at any con you go to, the cosplay contest or whatever they call it, people put so much time and effort into these things.
What they do.
And the detail, and it's just incredible. Yeah. And I've seen some wild ones at the Expo.
Yeah.
And this year I don't think it's going to be any different. So if wherever con you go to, make sure just to go in And because they usually do like, they'll call everyone up on stage, they'll kind of do a parade, and everyone comes up and does a spin or whatever.
Yeah.
And then there's voting and all that after. And it's just fantastic to see. And I'm glad they're doing it on Saturday this year, because in the past it was like one of the last events on Sunday.
Oh, okay.
So I never really ever stuck around for it. And then one year I was volunteering and I was in the tent that they did it in.
Nice.
And it was just awesome to see these people.
Cool. Yeah.
And kind of parading around.
So much time and effort goes into those costumes.
Exactly.
And they just look great, right?
Exactly.
They look right out of a movie.
And also Peter Mayhew's appearing on Saturday doing a
Yeah.
panel. So Chewbacca, our 7-foot+ man.
Oh, yeah.
He's got a tough time walking. He's quite old now.
Yeah, I
but
heard he has a cane. Does he?
yeah, he
use a cane
kind
or
of
something?
wobbles around. Like, he's a big dude.
Yeah.
And so it's going to be really cool to see him. Again, he was on the set of Force Awakens, so I'm sure the hosts and that are going to be, or the moderators are going to be asking him all kinds of questions about, being Chewbacca. And this guy, this is all this guy's really, he's been in a few other movies, but this is his character, right?
Yeah.
And he kind of really owns that aspect of it. Like, I follow him on Twitter, and he's always posting things almost exclusively about Chewbacca. But he has a love for the character, a love for the universe.
That's so
and
cool.
It was really cool that they got him back for The Force Awakens. I don't think he's going to be coming. Maybe they might do a thing where he comes back and does a scene or two so that they can get the credit as Chewbacca.
Right.
Carry on that legacy.
Yeah. Do we know if he was filmed Episode 3?
I don't know if that was...
Or is that just all CGI?
A lot of it, he's moving way too quick to be Peter Mayhew.
Yeah, that's true.
In some of those scenes. But he would have been quite a bit younger then, but at the same time, I don't know. Because a lot of that was CGI, I believe. I'm not sure the exact ins and outs and the details of if there was a couple scenes where it was just Chewbacca, but knowing the way that George Lucas had gone at the end or towards
CGI.
CGI is the way.
Yeah, because I think even when they re-released them on Blu-ray, they went back and taken out the practical effect Yoda from episode 1 and made him, which did look better.
It did look better. Yeah, that one was from episode 1 was hard to look at.
Yeah, it was.
That was pretty haggard.
Yeah, I remember. I think I had like the Pepsi Cup version of that. Oh, that was horrible.
Yeah, and on Sunday we got our spotlight on Stan Lee. So this is the one I think we have to make sure that we get to.
Definitely.
Because it's the last time, like I said last week, that he's speaking in Calgary.
Yeah.
And one of his last kind of spots or stops in Canada.
Yeah.
Before he kind of retires from the con circuit. I'm sure he'll probably do local stuff.
Yeah.
New York or wherever he lives. Florida.
Yeah.
But it's going to be great to see him. And the lady that plays Mockingbird on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is doing a spotlight.
Cool.
Robin Lord Taylor, who plays Penguin on the Gotham.
Yes, which is one of my highlights in that series. He's great.
So we're going to have to go check those out. And those panels are always fun to go and watch. And you get to kind of experience these people. Even though you're not talking directly to them, they kind of open up a bit about their experiences on sets, other projects that you're doing. Because a lot of these characters, we like to see these people in other movies. The familiarity of characters or actors in other movies often sometimes brings me in, right? Mm-hmm. If I see a character, I know him from Gotham or whatever.
Yeah.
I'll be like, maybe I will give this a shot because I like how they do. So it's kind of interesting to see what else these guys are doing.
Definitely.
And it's also, there's all kinds of like local content, people presenting stuff, and there's some really cool panels on. There's one that was like the science behind Jurassic World.
Oh, cool! You'd like that?
Yeah. And it's little stuff like that, and they're done in little tiny rooms, but it's people have put some time and effort, and kind of local creators are doing stuff. There's local creators showing films that they've made, short films.
Nice.
And so it's really nice to get out and support these people. Because we appreciate the support that people give us, being kind of just a small podcast from kind of Calgary area, and we get some support from local people, local creators, and us getting out there and supporting them is really important.
For sure, absolutely.
And it's just supporting kind of all local creators and people that are trying to put time and effort into a craft. And to build something that they want to show other people and share with other people, right?
Exactly. And keep the comic book culture alive in this day and age.
Yeah. And again, like we said last week, there's something for everyone. Mm-hmm. Like there's so much nerd there. It's unbelievable.
It's crazy.
I'm looking forward. My wallet is not looking forward to it. Like I said before, I'm hunting for very specific things.
Yeah.
We'll talk a bit about them here. I'm going back and trying. There's a few of the Brubaker run in Captain America that I still do not have.
Cool. Yeah,
after those. Chasing. And I'm going to pay an arm and a leg for some of them because I'm missing some of the key Winter Soldier issues.
Oh, boy.
But those are at the top of my list.
Nice.
And I'm actually still missing Guardians of the Galaxy number 25 from the 2008
run.
Yeah. Ooh. So that's the one where Thanos is on the cover. It's a gorgeous cover. But that's the other one I'm hunting for. I'm trying to get, there's a very specific price I want to get it for. And so I'm going to try to do a little bargaining here.
That's awesome.
Running into that, comic books. This is something that you and I love.
Oh, yeah.
Sanjay loves.
Yeah.
And with comic books comes events.
Oh, yeah.
And specifically with Marvel, big time events.
Oh, yeah.
All encompassing, line wide. And Civil War was really one of the big ones that kind of kicked off the Marvel event.
For sure. I'd say it's the biggest event since Secret Wars, the original one, back in the 80s.
Yeah. And this had like ripple effects for years through this. Like we're saying at the top of the cast. I don't think this really was resolved until you get to Age of Ultron. Which was only a couple of years ago.
Right, yeah.
And so this had like 4, 5, 6 years, if not more.
Yeah.
It's one of my favorite events. It was, like I said, is the first event I ever read, the first trade I ever read.
Yeah.
And it just blew my mind.
Yeah, it's incredible.
So it was written in 2006-07
Yeah.
by Mark Millar and the art by Steve McNiven.
Yes.
What do you think of the art?
Oh, the art's it's one of the best features in this book, and that says a lot. See how good this book is. The art's incredible. Mark Millar, I'm a big fan from his Old Man Logan. I believe he did Kingsman, and he does Civil War. He's just a great writer. He really gets these characters. I know some people are kind of on the fence with some of the characters' morals and choices they make. Yeah. For me, I just love what he did with these characters.
Yeah, I buy into a lot of what's happening.
Yeah.
As far as the character motivations, their end goals, what they're trying to get at, and also kind of coming out of this, all the repercussions that we get, and the authors picking up on that.
Yes.
And the art, I agree. It's some of my favorite art.
Oh,
just the way he does the faces of the characters,
the action scenes, the panel fights.
Some of the splash pages.
Captain America diving right out of the helicarrier.
Oh,
wow,
unbelievable.
Yeah,
unbelievable art. Though I do find everyone is wearing extremely tight costumes, and there's a lot of ass shots.
There's a lot of ass shots. But you know what? Going back to Captain America, because this is his original costume, basically. Yeah. It's the best it's ever looked, in my opinion. I love the way he's done it, because it can look very campy and Watchmen-like. Yeah. I think it just does a great job of
it's got the
scales. The scales and everything.
And the proper wing head.
Yeah, the wing. Yeah, it's great.
It's fantastic. So what we're going to do here is we're going to go through very specific aspects of the comic book event. So it's 7 issues long. We're not going to go through page by page or anything like that. But there's some very specific events, themes, and overall kind of narrative that we do see in the book that we're going to go through. But at the same time, we're going to try to parallel that and make predictions as to what aspects of this comic book event, if any, that the movie Captain America Civil War is going to adapt into film.
Right.
So what we're going to say here is spoilers.
Yes, definitely.
And to reiterate, we've watched the first 3 trailers. We've talked about them on a past podcast. Yeah. We haven't been watching TV spots. We haven't been watching interviews. We haven't watched any set videos or anything like that. And we haven't done anything else, any sort of media, with the exception of maybe a tweet or two that says, "Oh, this movie's great." Yeah. Like, we haven't read any reviews or anything like that. Yeah. So we're not coming at this from like the spoiler zone where we know more about the movie. We're coming at this purely from a comic book aspect.
Speculation.
Exactly. It's pure speculation. So we're going to say spoilers. We don't know any more than you guys if you've only watched the first 3 trailers, maybe even less. But we're going to take aspects of this and see, and maybe it's more of us fanboying over what we'd like to see adapted from here as opposed to what we actually think is going to be adapted.
Yeah, that's right.
But again, spoilers, both for the comic book, potentially for the movie, and also we're going to get into stuff that happens after. So I spoke about some of the ripple effects, the repercussions, something very specific, and we're going to get to that right after. So after I say spoilers here, that's it. You've had your opportunity.
Once I start waving my hands.
Yeah. You've had your opportunity to pause the podcast, kick back, wait a bit, come back.
Pick up the trade.
Exactly. So spoilers. Enough of that. We're in spoiler territory. So one thing that we are going to talk about after is something that we've alluded to a bit, and a huge aspect that I think is going to be adapted in Captain America Civil War is the death of Captain America. Yeah. So the 5-issue Fallen Sun arc that's also tied in with Captain America number 25 from the Brubaker run, which is the death of Captain America. Wow. So we'll talk a bit about that in the end, but that's something else that we're going to get into, because I think this has a big overall impact on what Captain America Civil War is going to be. As far as the ending of the Cap trilogy.
That's right.
Overall story arc. So like you were saying, this really worked for you, right?
Oh, yeah.
This was something that you could get right into. And we mentioned before, too, that this is something that if you're not a comic reader and you want to kind of understand a bit more about the characters in that, even something you can come to after you watch Captain America Civil War, or something that if you love the movies, you can jump into this.
Absolutely.
It's not
fair game for everyone.
Exactly. Yeah. This is kind of the kickoff of the big events. And so this is something where it's a good jumping on point, because a lot of stuff spills out of this. Yeah. Including Secret War or Secret Avengers. We get, the Initiative is the big storyline that runs through here. We're starting the seeds of even Secret Wars and what's going to happen in Siege, and it's little things
all
like
these
that.
Little things. Spider-Man fans back in black going on in there. Yeah, it's good stuff.
A lot of stuff starts to snowball out of this, and it's very minor things. Yeah. And some people might say, "Oh, there's nothing about Secret Wars in here," but it's kind of implications of where characters are as a result of what happens to Civil War. And what they're doing in Secret Wars and stuff like that. So it's interesting how much impact this individual event has had on the overall Marvel comic book universe. Yeah. We'll start off here. We'll jump in with what I'm calling the incident.
Yes.
So the start of this book, issue 1, we've got the New Warriors.
Yes.
And this is really, because it was published 2006-07, this is when reality TV was huge,
so
right?
It's really, like a time mark on what's going on in current events. I love that.
And so we've got the New Warriors, and they're really kind of doing reality, kind of this handheld camera sort of thing, right? And they're trying to film themselves taking down some superheroes that had recently broken out of Riker.
Yes.
Which is one of the big prisons in the Marvel comic book universe.
Yeah, almost like the Arkham Asylum.
Exactly. And so they're questioning themselves on video here. These guys are too big time for us. We shouldn't be going after these guys.
Yes.
Shouldn't we call the Avengers? And like, no, this would make great ratings. And so it's really starting to see this aspect of the irresponsibility of young superheroes. So people that have powers that don't really know how to use them, control them, as well as kind of making these poor judgment calls as to when to actually use their superhuman powers. And what ends up coming out of this is I've turned the incident is Nitro. One of the villains says to one of the New Warriors, "You're out of your league, bud," and goes nuclear.
Yeah, blows a school up.
Yeah,
and blocks and blocks and blocks up.
Yeah, so kills a whole bunch of elementary school kids.
Yeah,
and so this is pretty dark.
Oh yeah, right off the bat too. Yeah, setting the tone.
And even the art in here, you see children's skeletons scattered out in the background. They're not in the foreground. They're not kind of prominent, but they're there.
Yeah.
And it's really telling you something, right? That, this is going to be a different sort of toned book. And that's pulled right through this.
Right.
And there's a woman in here, I can't remember her name, but she's always going back to Tony Stark. She's one of the victims' mothers.
Yes.
And you really feel for this woman through this. And she's kind of really going after Tony Stark. And
spits in his face.
Yeah, exactly. And this is where you see a lot of this kind of public resentment building.
Yeah.
What do you think the incident, or is there going to be an incident specifically in Captain America Civil War that kind of kicks off this kind of government reaction or public resentment towards the Avengers? Like, they've alluded a bit in the last trailer to this building of, we've had New York, we had Washington, D.C., we had Sokovia. Clearly, there's something else.
Yes.
What do you think it is?
Yeah, it's interesting because, like you said, there's obviously a build-up. I don't know if it could be something other, say maybe it's Falcon and Cap. They finally found Winter Soldier, Bucky, and they're chasing them down, and then everything hits the fan. Maybe there's some big bad reaction, and people get killed, and they're kind of like, you know what, this is it.
Yeah.
And Tony's, against this, and get the kickoff of the war between heroes. Yeah. Maybe. Yeah. How about you? What do you think?
I don't know. Like, I've been contemplating whether or not they're going to go dark with something like this. They're going to take a little bit from this comic book event and say, if we go to a really dark place here, because people, and I don't know if the Marvel Cinematic Universe is ready for something like this, because people don't like seeing children get hurt.
Yes, exactly.
And very fair.
Yes.
Very fair. But it has such a profound impact on individual characters in the comic book that it is children that died. And, this is our responsibility, and it's because of us that we let this happen, or there's no controls. And I think that's a lot where Tony Stark comes from, right? Yeah. Because he feels this responsibility as an Avenger, as kind of like a leader in the superhuman community.
And an ex-arms dealer.
Exactly. Exactly. And so he has that kind of firsthand knowledge of what he can do if he's not a responsible person.
Yes.
And then you do see that kind of pulled through here. And I think there's got to be something very profound. It can't be another event where, we saved the majority of people and maybe we lost one or two, right?
Right.
It's like, I think there's a line in one of the trailers is like, we try to save as many people as we can, but we can't save everyone.
Right.
I don't know if they're going to go dark with this. I'm kind of thinking that if they did, it would really set a dark tone for this movie, because we've been getting darker and darker with the Cap series, right? And would I like to see, I'd never like to see children hurt or anything like that. But would I like to see something a bit more profound than off-screen deaths?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, definitely.
And so there's that explosion, and we see kind of T'Challa kind of crawling through. Maybe it's a UN thing, where it seems like an attack on all nations.
Yeah.
And so kind of this is more of a global superhuman registration act, even though a lot of it's concentrated in America. We do have effects, like we had in Thor the Dark World, there's London, we had Sokovia. We've had other things going on, so maybe this is more of a global reaction.
Right.
So,
get out of hand.
Yeah, I think it needs to be something more profound than some off-screen deaths or some small event. It's going to be something big
It has
to set this off.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, that's a good point.
And then going back to the comics, so we have kind of in the wake of this big tragedy, the U.S. government reacts. And this is where S.H.I.E.L.D. plays a big part in this. And this is something that we don't have in the movies anymore, which would be interesting to see how they kind of take that aspect of it.
That's right.
But we have the introduction of the Superhuman Registration Act.
Yeah, which is cool because it's pulling back from, I think, the early 90s where they had the Mutant Registration Act. So it's kind of neat that they brought it back to the forefront, but for superheroes.
There's that aspect is filled in too by the X-Men.
Yeah.
Because they're being essentially kept in more or less a ghetto.
Yeah.
At the time, being watched by the Sentinels out throughout this. So this is something that's kind of a spur off of what else is happening in the Marvel universe, comic universe at the time. Is there's big stuff going on with the X-Men. I'm not super familiar with it, but there is allusion to the fact that they are basically being kept prisoner or watched, right?
Right.
And you see them even when the Wolverine and that they show up to help clean up after.
Yeah.
So this again, like you were saying at the start of the podcast, or before we actually got going, is this is similar to a 9/11 thing that's happened within the Marvel universe, and you see a similar reaction where in the explosion area that you have all these superheroes have shown up. You see Mr. Fantastic, Wolverine, Cap, they're all in there, and Goliath is in there picking up rocks, right? So they've all come out in support and to help out what's going on. And then that's when it's kind of like, well, you guys caused this, and then you're here, like, get away from here. We can do this on our own.
Exactly.
And so it's interesting to see that aspect of it, that you do see kind of similar threads, like the community coming together and then this big resentment building out from it.
Right.
Coming out of kind of the introduction of the Superhuman Registration Act is pushed through by the president. This thing is becoming law, and they try to get Cap on board.
Right.
S.H.I.E.L.D. specifically has been given the task, you get Captain America on board.
Yeah.
And so they get him up onto the helicarrier, Mariana Hill, and then all these S.H.I.E.L.D. agents and that basically say, Cap, you've never kind of really gone against this. You're a military man. You're always kind of siding with the government. And Cap does something that, again, you mentioned this, that some people question his morals on this.
Right.
And he goes, again, this isn't happening.
No.
I'm not doing this.
No, absolutely not.
And that's something different for Captain America, which is really cool to see.
Really cool to see. Yeah, I love that.
He's not just this kind of Boy Scout that, just a government lackey that will do whatever.
Yeah, he's for the people.
And it's really nice to see. And we see some of the seeds of that being planted in Winter Soldier.
Exactly.
And which really makes me excited because it's like, have these guys been thinking about this? I read an article the other day that, yes, Civil War was something that came together really last minute.
Okay, wow.
Because they're putting a lot of the pieces together. Like, yes, we need Iron Man. So getting Robert Downey Jr. on board is a big aspect of this.
Yes. And
they wrote a script without Spider-Man and a script with Spider-Man.
Right.
And so then now we got Spider-Man in it.
Exactly.
And so a lot of pieces fell into place quite late. But at the same time, you start to see this stuff building. You see kind of Kevin Feige saying, like, I kind of want to do this someday. So let's start planting these seeds of doubt in Captain America as far as his overall thoughts and what he respects within the government, particularly S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yes.
So one of the cool things here, though, when we do get Cap being basically pressured into, coming on board with the Superhero Registration Act, is a scene that you mentioned here. Is all of a sudden this scene was pulled right out of the comics and shoved right into Winter Soldier.
Oh my goodness, was it ever?
Even down to the aspect of S.H.I.E.L.D. turning on Cap in a like that. It was like Cap said no, and all of a sudden Mary Hill's like trank him.
Yeah.
And
the way they capture the scene, he grabs one soldier, uses him as a shield.
Yes.
Oh man, it's incredible what they do with the pages.
Yes, it's done so well in Winter Soldier, and it's pulled right out of here, and even down to there's no elevator for anything like that, but him jumping out of
the window, right out of the helicarrier,
and falling down. Like it's just that same sort of with the shield out, and it's just beautifully drawn.
Yeah, definitely.
By Stephen, like it's fantastic.
Yeah.
It's like iconic, I would call it, and it was captured so well in Winter Soldier.
Yes, definitely. Yeah, this artist just captures frame by frame the art, everything, the motion, the fighting, the action. It's incredible what he does.
I'm on the edge of my seat in this, because I hadn't read this for a while, so I completely forgot that was in there. And I'm sitting there like, oh my god, the guys were reading this comic book while they were writing, and while they're putting together the storyboards for Winter Soldier.
Yeah, definitely, definitely,
amazing.
Yeah. And it feels like, going to this story, it feels like such a Captain America story.
Yeah.
When they first announced they're doing a Civil War, I was kind of like, well, shouldn't that just be like an Avenger movie?
Yeah.
But then going back and reading this, I'm like, this is very much a standalone Captain America featuring the Marvel Cinematic, or the Marvel comic universe.
That is a perfect way of putting this. And I think that's what the movie's going to
Definitely,
be.
Yeah.
I agree with you. When I reread this, I again, when I'd step back, similar to you, I was like, this is a huge event that encompasses so much. But all of it, when you read through it and then you read through the epilogue and you read through what's the Fallen Sun stuff,
Right.
it's all about Captain America.
Yes, that's awesome.
I agree with you. When they first announced it, it was like, I wanted the end of the Cap story.
Right.
This is the end of the Cap story.
Exactly, right? Definitely.
Yeah. It's so well done. Mm-hmm. So when you get the Superhuman Registration Act within the comic book, Iron Man has a secret meeting with the president, and he basically comes on board and says, yes, I will support this.
Right.
And the president says, yes, we're pushing this through. This is going to become law tomorrow. And so it was shoved right through Congress. But interesting enough, some of the guys that were on board with this and kind of there with Tony Stark throughout the whole thing, Mr. Fantastic, Reed Richards, and Hank Pym Yellowjacket.
Right.
And so you have 3 of the smartest people in the Marvel comic book universe all on side of the Superhuman Registration Act and pushing for it. And so we immediately see this huge division within the superhuman community.
Yeah.
And the implications that go with not registering. And so Reed Richards and these guys, they put together this Prison 42.
Yes.
So it's alluded through for the first few issues as to this idea of this 42 or whatever, and I know Sue Storm picks up and says, what's 42? Oh, don't worry about that, it's classified. She says, and we find out eventually that it's the 42nd idea out of 100 ideas that they had post the incident. So they sat down the night after, Reed Richards, Tony Stark, and Hank Pym hashed out everything they could do to make things better, and they come up with this Prison 42, which is in the negative zone, right? So you can't escape from it.
No.
We'll see how that works later on.
I really like, I think it's just going before this, when all the superheroes meet up in the community. I think they're at Stark Tower, maybe? Yeah. And, Daredevil's like, this is not going to be good. And Daredevil calls it right off the bat. This is going to be pretty bad. This is going to divide us. Yeah. I think it's Daredevil that says that.
Yeah, that's a really cool scene. Avengers Tower or Stark Tower,
somewhere, but there's a whole gathering of all these heroes. You just get a good idea that these guys all have history together. These guys have been with each other for years and years and years.
Yeah, you see so much. I'm just flipping through here, and it's just such a fantastic scene that you're seeing.
It's incredible, right? And again, like you were saying before, they don't force these characters just to be there. It's very organic how these characters flow from panel to panel, page to page.
That's it. It doesn't feel forced. Like, because some of the other events that I've read, it's like, well, Wolverine's there and has one line the whole book. Spider-Man shows up randomly for stuff. Right. And AVX was very bad for that. It was just like there'll be a couple panels where we have don't forget about Spider-Man. Yeah. All this was just you read this at 7 issues, it feels like it was a 40-issue book. Yeah. Because it does it so well. At the same time, it's so crisp. Like it's like boom. It's like you're watching a movie almost. Yeah. It just everything happens sequentially and it's quick. I find that some of the events now that are 12 issues long, you could probably do with it 3 or 4 of the issues. Absolutely. Because they're just dragging stuff on. Exactly. It's really some of the issues in some of the other events are just getting from book 3 to book 5. You just walk through book 4, right? Yeah. There's nothing in there of any substance. It's kind of like filler. Exactly. Right? There's no substance there. And so sometimes you feel like, they're just doing this they're doing 12 issues. Yeah. And they have 7 issues of story. Yeah. Where this is like we have 7 solid issues. It's quick and it's fast and it's good storytelling, but it doesn't feel that way. No. And reading through this in the trade, I was never like, I wish they would have done this differently, or I wish they had cut that out. I'm like, I need more of this. Yeah, it's great. It's very thought out. It's like they have a clear path and idea and vision of where they want this story to go. Yeah. You don't feel like there's any hiccups along the ride. No, and there's lots of tie-ins to this. So there's Spider-Man tie-ins, X-Men tie-ins, New Avengers tie-ins, Wolverine tie-ins, Fantastic Four. So this hit every corner of the Marvel comic book universe. But you don't need those. I've read a few of them, not all of them. They do supplement, again, the story, but the whole thing is contained within the 7 issues, really. Awesome. And then you get kind of the epilogue and a few other stories that kind of tag on to the end of it. Right. And then we have kind of being thrust out of this separation and divide in the community is the Secret Avengers. A lot of these guys go underground with Cap. And so we get guys like Iron Fist and Luke Cage kind of going underground. Yeah. And we have the Young Avengers. They're being rescued by Cap and Falcon in one of the scenes. That's right. After they're captured. Yeah. Which is a great scene. They kind of go undercover. Yeah. And they kind of say with cloak and daggers are big in this as well. That's right. Yeah, because I think it's the panel is Cap, Falcon, Daredevil. Yeah. I think Hercules. Yeah. Because Hercules has a pretty good story. Well, it's great in here, yeah. Yeah, he's awesome. When he gets the hammer, Thor's, I love it. Yeah. And then we have Goliath in here, Ben Foster, who's like a Marvel mainstay from forever ago. Yeah. He was one of Hank Pym's. I think he was like his assistant for a while. Right. And he's Goliath, so he's Giant Man, basically. Yeah, he has a big little arc going on. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And again, he's another character that you won't recognize if you're just jumping into this, but quickly you're kind of like, because I never read a lot of Ben Foster, and I don't know that character that well, because I haven't read a lot of stuff kind of preceding this. But as soon as I got into it, I was like, oh yeah, I've read a few little things about him before in the past.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm right on board with this.
Yeah, it makes sense. You just go with it. You pick it up right away.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay. Yeah.
Spider-Man was a huge pivotal point in this. Because this superhuman registration, unlike what probably the movie is going to be, a lot of it was focused around you need to register, work for the government, basically work for S.H.I.E.L.D., for the U.S. government, and you need to unmask.
Yes, exactly.
So that's an aspect that we're probably not going to see in the cinematic universe.
Yeah.
But this is a big point here because we got guys like Daredevil, Spider-Man, and all kinds of masked characters. Like this is their identity, right?
Absolutely.
And Spider-Man specifically because he's protecting his wife, his family, his aunt.
Yeah, he's a great panel in this too, where I think he says, I don't wear this mask because I'm ashamed. I'm proud of what I do, but I wear this to protect my family.
Exactly.
Right? Yeah.
And that's what it is all about for him. And for him to join Tony's side, there's even comments following on in some of the epilogue stuff where Tony Stark says, everyone kind of fell on the sides I thought they would. I kind of knew this war was coming, except for Spider-Man.
Yeah.
And he's got the spider armor.
Oh,
you read some of this?
Yeah. I'm pretty on the fence with the armor, because he gets the armor basically coming off the other storyline where Spider-Man evolves and he ends up living with Tony Stark because his house gets melted or whatever the case is. So he has a very good relationship with Tony Stark going into the Civil War, which is really cool, which makes it even better once, he turns from Tony Stark. You really get a sense of this history between these two characters, they're butting heads, but ultimately Spider-Man makes the right decision. And it felt right that he would kind of, stick with Tony because he's helped him out, but then move over to Cap's side.
Yeah. Okay, so that's interesting. I haven't read a lot of the Spider-Man stuff coming into this.
Right.
Do you think that sort of relationship, we're going to see that, is it more of like a mentor-mentee relationship in the preceding this stuff?
Yeah, it kind of is. Yeah, him and Tony, because they're both scientists, right?
Yeah.
So him and Tony have that relationship, that chemistry going into the Civil War. So I think in the movies we'll definitely see that. I think it'll be even more focused as Spider-Man looking up to Tony as like a mentor than this, because Spider-Man's pretty grown up in this one. Whereas in the movies, I imagine obviously Uncle Ben's dead, so Spider-Man, Peter Parker, the next best thing he's looking up to is probably Tony Stark.
Yeah, and so that's where we see this relationship develop in through, and then we're getting Tony Stark showing up in Spider-Man,
so I'm sure they'll continue going
exactly.
forward.
So it's interesting. That tells you a little bit of maybe what's going on in their arc in the movie. When we get towards the end, I'll talk a bit about the initiative and where I think Tony Stark is going to land. But it's interesting that maybe Spider-Man isn't going to be that same sort of pivotal character in Captain America Civil War as he is here. Kind of this flip-flopping and ultimately unmasking.
That's right, yeah, because I don't think he'll do that unmasking thing. But you know what? It's going to be interesting because I know you're pretty familiar with the Ultimates. Yeah. And Spider-Man idolizes Captain America a lot. He looks up to Captain America. I think Captain America even trains Spider-Man. It's kind of a funny situation going off of, superheroes that aren't really trained yet cause this big disaster. Well, going into the Ultimate Universe, Spider-Man isn't completely trained, so Captain America is always looking out for him, being like, you got to come with me. I got to train you over at the Ultimate headquarters, wherever the case is. Yeah. So it'd be neat to see if he still has this man crush on Captain America going into the movie. It's interesting you say that, because that is also a thread that's picked up in Fallen Sun, which is the book that comes after. Cool. And you see a lot of regret and almost depression over the death of Captain America in Spider-Man. And they allude back to times when Captain America saved him from the Hulk once, and how he trained him, and how he's always looked out for him, and how Wolverine comes in at one point and says, look, you weren't supposed to be part of the New Avengers. Yeah. So like at the start of the Bendis run, they kind of kicked up this New Avengers where the idea was we're going to have the greatest characters in the Marvel comic universe part of the Avengers. You have Wolverine joining, you're with Cap, Iron Man, all these guys, and there's discussion around should Spider-Man be part of the New Avengers? Should he be an Avenger? And Wolverine says right to him, none of us wanted you on the squad. But Cap said, I'm not doing this New Avengers thing unless Spider-Man is on the team. Wow, that's awesome. So it was really cool. And it's really cool that you say that. That you do see this relationship, this kind of idolization of Captain America by Spider-Man. That is in here. That's so cool. It's not in the main book, but it's in the supplemental stuff that the tie-ins in that, and they really pick up on that. Oh wow, that's a buy. Yeah. Okay, Comic Expo, here we go. I'm looking for the Fallen Sun. It's great. Yeah. And so we mentioned a bit about X-Men. So X-Men, again, are a big part of the universe at this time still. You don't have these issues with Fox that they're getting kind of pushed to the corner or anything. But they're not really involved in this story, which, with the exception of Wolverine and a couple others. Yeah, Cable, Bishop, But I really appreciated that aspect of it because it didn't clutter up the book. Yes. It's this was more of an Avenger-centric. We can get Spider-Man in there as well, Fantastic Four. But I find when you start throwing in the X-Men,
you get a bit of clutter in here. You get a lot of characters. And I think AVX suffered a bit from that. Yeah. Just too many characters to deal with.
Yeah, because X-Men as a whole is just huge.
Yeah, and they've got so many mainstay characters too, right?
Yeah.
You've got to give time to Professor X, Cyclops, all these Storms in this a bit because he's married to T'Challa.
Yeah, that's right.
At the time. I really liked that. And I really liked how they kind of briefly addressed it. So Tony Stark shows up at the
X-Mansion.
Yeah, the X-Mansion and talks to Emma Frost.
Yes.
And basically says, we want you on the pro registration team. We don't want you with the resistance. And he says, we'll offer you this, this, and this. And Emma Frost basically says, well, we're living in the ghetto anyways.
Yeah.
So we're not going to join you.
Exactly.
But we won't join Cap's team if you just leave us alone.
Exactly. Because they weren't there for their struggle too.
Exactly.
Really. So she kind of flips the bird at them.
Yeah. It's a great scene. It's a great way to reference the other part of one of the other aspects of the comic universe without kind of saying or having several issues. And yes, there are X-Men tie-in issues to this that address some of these things. But at the same time, it was just such a nice little nod. Iron Man's like, this is a win for me.
Yeah.
They're not going to join Cap, so I'm good.
Yeah, he can live with that.
And because we don't have, I always refer to it like we're making the movie.
We're in the comics.
Yeah. We don't have, we here at the Nerd Room who have access and, sway over Marvel Studios. No, so they don't have access to some of these characters, some of the big pivotal characters, namely the Fantastic Four. And it's nice that the X-Men aren't such a huge anchor in here. True. That they don't really have to. Wolverine does play a part in this, specifically in the Fallen Sun, but you can use other characters for that. One of the things, though, with Civil War is we're saying that in the comic book event here, they do such a good job of balancing so many characters, and we don't have that same volume of characters in the movie.
Right.
Do you think it's going to feel vacant? Not so much in the sense that we don't have good characters, but we don't have the volume of characters around. Is it going to feel like, this seems like a small battle that's contained within a much larger kind of civil war, or should be at least? Where are all these other characters?
That's right.
Do you think it's going to feel too small scale for what this comic book event actually was for the comics?
I think in comparison to the comics, it will be a little bit.
Yeah.
But the Russo brothers are pretty good with handling the characters, and plus when you're dealing with a movie, it's so hard to spread the floor with all these characters. I think Joss Whedon did a great job in Avengers.
Yeah.
James Gunn did a great job in Guardians of the Galaxy. But I think the Russos can pull it off in this movie to cover everyone's ground with still keeping it a Captain America-centric movie. But I think in comparison to this, it'll definitely feel a bit of on the smaller scale side of characters and heroes.
And that might be the limit that we can get to with movies too, right? If you try to involve 60 characters, maybe we'll get this in Infinity War.
Right.
Trying to do it in here and tell a Cap story,
you
just basically with a runtime of 2 hours or 2.5 hours, whatever it was me. We have 7 issues here. It's pretty dense writing and it's pretty dense art.
Yeah.
And we get a lot going on. But if you're trying to do that in a movie with actual dialogue, action pieces, developing new characters, seeding future movies, it's going to be hard to contain even what we have.
Oh, yeah.
Even though we have maybe I'm going to say a scaled down version of this comic book event.
Right.
But we still have the majority of the characters from the Marvel Cinematic Universe involved in this, which is really cool to see.
Absolutely. Yeah.
One of the big things that comes out of this, like I said, was the Secret Avengers.
Yes.
And this is something that I would love to see in the movies. So this is kind of the underground guys. Iron Fist, Luke Cage, Spider-Man eventually when he flips sides joins this. Actually, I forgot to mention that when we talked about Spider-Man, he unmasks. I know I did say it, but we didn't really talk about it. And this is a big thing.
This is a big deal. Even people that weren't from reading comics knew that Peter Parker unmasks himself, right? That's a big, big deal.
And Stark convinced him to do it, kind of come down in this public press conference and rip off his mask.
And there's a cool panel where J. Jonah Jameson's just like upside down, feet in the air. He can't believe that Peter Parker's been, Spider-Man this whole time. And it doesn't end well between those two, the relationship actually going forward after Civil War.
Well, I can't imagine it does. So again, this is like something that's it's changing so much. And that's what events are supposed to be, right?
Exactly.
Change the status quo.
Yes.
Of the comics going forward.
Yeah.
And I really think at the end of Civil War, one of the big things going to happen, we're going to have an underground team.
Yes.
I don't really know who's going to be composed of or who's going to be leading it, but I think we're going to have Avengers. It's probably going to be Ant-Man. It's probably going to be one of them. Maybe Hawkeye. I guess you need a leader in there.
Yeah, I could see like a Bucky or a Hawkeye, leading the way, which would be really cool because they're very espionage based kind of characters, right?
Exactly. And so they're going to be someone that's in the background doing stuff.
Yeah.
Well, maybe a guy like Tony leads kind of your main, what's coming out of this is called the Mighty Avengers.
Mighty Avengers, yeah. Did Secret Warriors spin out of this too? I did have a little run of Secret Warriors going on.
Yeah, Secret Warriors.
Nick Fury.
Is a Nick. So Nick Fury is absent through the majority of this, right?
Yes.
He's gone. And I think it was, I can't remember exactly why he leaves, but what's either retconned or the kind of seeded reason why he leaves is because of the infiltration of the Skrulls.
Oh, okay.
So that he didn't know who he could trust, so he went underground to try to figure out who was who. And so in the Secret Invasion book, you see him at some of his safe houses, and he's got all the pictures of all the different... He's got Skrull, this, that. And so he's kind of in the background. And the Secret Warriors were part of that whole... It was almost like a prelude to Secret Invasion, I believe. So it's somewhere in between there.
Yeah, I think it's like a 30-run issue or something. I think I had about 15 of them.
A lot of that's being... Well, not... It's kind of loosely adapted in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. You get Daisy Johnson, Quake, and all that. So it's pretty cool to see some of that stuff.
Yeah. But I can't remember, did Mark Millar do that one? I can't remember who did that run. Was it Bendis? I can't remember who wrote.
I can't remember off the top of my head. I got some upstairs.
Yeah.
You can check that out after.
Yeah. Good art, though, behind that one, too.
Yeah, fantastic.
Yeah.
So one of the big things here, so we have this initial fight between what's being called the Resistance and the pro-registration side. So we kind of, it's a really funny scene. You see Hercules, Cap, Goliath, and Daredevil. They're getting kind of these secret identities, right? And they're kind of sitting there like, why do I got to be this? And you know, kind of the one Cap's all got glasses on.
Through the mustache?
Yeah. And then they get wind that there's this big petrochemical plant on fire.
This is very big.
400 people trapped. And actually, when they arrive, they're kind of wandering through looking for people, and they step on this plaque and it says Stark Industries. And they turn around and it was this trap.
It's a trap.
It's a trap. Awesome. So we do get our first kind of big battle here between Cap's side and Iron Man's side, as Iron Man is essentially trying to capture Captain America and his Secret Avengers, because they're still out there trying to do good, right?
That's right.
And a lot of it, throughout the whole book is, we want to do good for people. We just don't want to work for S.H.I.E.L.D., right? We don't want to reveal our identities.
Exactly. Too much to lose.
Exactly.
It's interesting, too, that the Mighty Avengers are going around kind of parading and winning these battles. And, the whole general audience or community out there is like loving these guys off.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
And it's a lot of it with the pro registration is trying to win the respect of the public again.
Yes.
And getting their trust again. Because that was a big thing that was lost. And that's kind of something that's pulled right through here is the public doesn't trust the Avengers, doesn't trust superhumans anymore to do what's good for them. And there's some talk through, at the end, there's another book called The Confession. It's kind of a thing that ends the whole Civil War event itself. And Tony's talking through it and he's saying, well, the public had become complacent with us. Instead of hoping we'd help them, they demanded that we help them. And you could see this resentment building towards them. And he kind of alludes to the fact that he knew this war was coming. He had always planned for this to happen. He had the Superhuman Registration Act ready to go.
Interesting.
Just in case something like this had happened. Yeah. And so you can see that building. So again, it's a nice little piece that comes after this.
It's very Batman of him.
Yes. Yes, exactly. It's having that plan to take down the community if they had to.
Yeah.
But throughout this battle, Captain America, he kind of throws the first blow at this.
Yes.
And him and Iron Man have at it.
Oh, man. And again, this is... Steve
McNiven.
Steve McNiven just capturing those action scenes again. Right?
Yeah, he does this kind of like faded thing where he's like people are running, and it's really cool to see. And you kind of almost like a shockwave sense you're getting from some different panels and the fights in that. Iron Man just decimates Captain America in this.
Yes,
they're really kind of getting towards the end of this battle, and you do see it's swinging both ways. And then all of a sudden, Thor shows up.
Yes. And at this time, Thor's believed to be dead. Yeah. Right? Yeah.
And so he drops down, and people are like, Thor, like, what are you doing? And he starts going after the Resistance.
Yes.
And people can't understand what's going on.
Right.
Why is Thor doing this? Eventually, at the end of this battle, Thor kills Goliath.
Yeah, it's brutal too, right?
Lightning bolt or whatever right through his chest. All of a sudden, the Resistance are like, what just happened?
Yeah, and they're all trying to plan their escape the Resistance, but Cloak and cloaks the transporter.
Yeah,
and so is the other guy. He's kind of like a Scarlet Witch, but he's a kid who can teleport.
Yeah, he's part of the Young Avengers. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. So those two have both been kind of taken out, so they can't really escape yet during this whole battle. Invisible Woman. Yeah,
woman. Yeah, she's
Invisible Girl.
She protects the Resistance.
Yes. Puts up the big shield.
Exactly, and allows them to escape.
Yes, buys them time. It's awesome.
And so you start to see that building of this, and we do see this at the end where essentially Reed is left by Sue.
Yeah.
And they go off to do other things.
Yeah, because you really see Sue and a bunch of other characters kind of struggling. Do I lay here? Do I stay here? Do I go? Right?
And you see this flip-flopping starting, particularly after this battle, after this Thor scene.
Yes, because then Peter Parker, Spider-Man, now we see him question everything.
Exactly, and characters are like, we didn't sign up for this.
Yes.
And we get other people saying, like, we can't do anything about this. We might as well join them and not go to jail. So you have this flip-flopping back and forth.
Exactly. Cable leaves. He doesn't even join. He just leaves. And then there's two other kind of C-listers. I don't even know their names. But they go on and leave to join Iron Man.
Exactly.
Where Spider-Man and Iron Man have a big fight in Tony's apartment.
Yeah, huge fight. Yeah. And this one we see the introduction of another great character. So Iron Man decimates Spider-Man.
And Spidey takes a beating because he not only does he get beaten by Iron Man, he gets agents sent after him, which one's kind of like, I forgot
Thunderbolts.
his name. It's the Thunderbolts.
Yeah.
Right.
So it's villains, right?
Yeah.
It was Jack-o'-lantern.
Jack-o'-lantern, that's right.
There's a couple others in there.
Yeah.
And eventually you get into this whole, like, with Bullseye and that. So because so many people were leaving the pro registration, Tony goes and starts up the Thunderbolts of villains, basically.
Right.
And they send them after Spider-Man.
Yeah.
And Spider-Man's back in his old suit and all that. And this is where we get the introduction of Punisher.
Actually, he's still in the suit. He's still in the Iron Man suit.
Oh, is he?
He's still in the Iron Man suit. He gets beaten down. But what do you call it? Yeah, Punisher comes to rescue him. Yeah.
And he's kind of all doped up because he's kind of got the gas or whatever from the Jack-o'-lantern bomb. And he's kind of like, he says, "Oh, you're the guy in this with a skull head or something." And I was like,
Spider-Man.
"Oh, that's awesome. That is awesome."
At his introduction, Punisher coming in, just bullets flying through the Thunderbolts. Yeah. Oh, wow.
It's so good. And he kind of, he breaks, he's got Spider-Man in his arms.
Yeah.
Comes to the door, "I need a medic
now."
Oh,
it's awesome. And where, the Resistance isn't so quick to trust Punisher, but Cap is the one that's actually like, "Hey, hold your horses here. He's good. He's with us." And he kind of embraces him for a little bit there. Yeah. Takes him in.
Just a little bit.
And
it's another one of these very organically brought in characters because it doesn't feel like they shoehorned in Punisher. This was the right time for him to come in.
Because you kind of see him watching over these guys, this masked figure. You don't know who it is, but he seems kind of gradually watching these guys. And then he shows up there, right?
Yeah, and he does say, "The reason I'm here is because Tony's using the Thunderbolts. He's using bad guys."
Yes. That's awesome.
And then we eventually see Captain America start to think, no, it was villains show up, so like D-list villains show up and be like,
join Cap.
Yeah, to join the Resistance, and Cap's kind of like, and then all of a sudden Punisher shoots him.
Just bullets flying, no questions asked.
And then Captain America beats the shit out of him after that. But that's after, I guess, they kind of use him to infiltrate and steal
which is cool.
The Prison 42.
Yes, he gets that cool high-tech suit. It's very Mission Impossible, like,
exactly.
as he breaks into Stark Tower, I think, and does espionage stuff.
So he's one of the big highlights for this.
He's great in that. He's great.
It's it's towards the end. It's only over an issue or two that he's actually in it.
Yeah,
and he's kind of in and out, but he has a profound effect on the overall story.
Right.
Even from the aspect of bringing in Spider-Man and saving him to kind of helping them steal the Prison 42.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, because I remember Spider-Man wakes up in their headquarters and then he has his original blue and red studs back on. So that's cool. Yeah.
So going back to kind of this return of Thor. So we eventually find out that Thor is in fact a clone. Mm-hmm. And it's a hair that Tony has had since the first day, meeting. Since Avengers #1.
Which is incredible. Which is, again, brings up the questioning. Hank Pym's kind of questioning, like, what kind of man does this?
Yeah, exactly.
Sweeps through the couches for this kind of stuff.
And it's, again, coming back to this Batman thing, I need this hair. Like, in his mind, I need this hair for the one day maybe when either I need Thor or I need to fight Thor.
Right. Which is kind of an aspect I really like with Tony Stark. I kind of like that kind of idea that he has where I have to watch everyone's back because you never know when that person could turn or anything, right? So I kind of like that. Yeah.
Do you think in the movie we're going to get a surprise character? Are we going to get a secret Avenger, if you will, or a powerful character that shows up on Tony's side or on Cap's side? So someone that they have in their back pocket.
Oh.
Like I'm thinking like maybe a Hulk, not so much a Thor.
Well, you know what? Maybe Thunderbolt Ross unleashes the Red Hulk. Maybe we see it. I mean, that'd be pretty hard that if they've kept that under the rug this whole time.
Be amazing.
It'd be amazing, though, right? I don't think we'll see Thor or any kind of form of
No,
Thor.
I don't think so. They're not going to go down this clone route.
No. But it'd be interesting. Mark Ruffalo is going to be in this. At least we've heard he's
from two different sources that he's filmed something.
Exactly.
And whether that's just a cameo as Bruce Banner,
right.
like, hey, I'm here, but I'm going.
Right.
One idea I wanted to throw on you was, I was thinking, maybe Iron Man or Cap. I don't know which one would use the Hulk, but maybe they use him. And this is at the end where you get the Hulk being fired off.
Right.
I thought he's going to be fired off at the end of Age of Ultron.
That's what I would have thought.
But maybe this is a way to get him out. Maybe they weren't decided yet. But if they use the Hulk and he goes on some sort of rampage and kills someone, kills a character,
right?
And there's been nothing about this in any sort of the trailers or anything that I've seen,
right?
Or even allusion to the fact that something else is going on,
right?
But they could pull this aspect of the comic book, like someone shows up unexpectedly and then kills someone,
right?
And so let's say Iron Man brings in the Hulk and he kills Hawkeye,
right?
All of a sudden we have the death of a hero at the hands of a monster that's being driven by Stark,
right?
And one result and one way for Tony to rectify this at the end of the movie, is fire Hulk off into space.
Exactly.
We can't have you here. I cannot control you.
Yeah.
If anyone could control you, it would be Tony Stark.
Yeah.
His Bruce Banner's best friend, you could say. And he can't do it, so he doesn't want to be responsible for the Hulk anymore. So see you later.
That's right. I like that. That could be it. We also do know that Giant Man's going to be in here. So maybe it's reverse and Cap is the one that kind of unleashes, well, not necessarily Cap, but, Ant-Man becomes the Giant Man and maybe he enters War Machine or whoever. I don't know. We've never seen it. And maybe they're like, whoa, Cap, you got to slow down here. Who knows?
There's got to be something like this in there where during one of the battles, I know they're out and fight. Like, you never get the impression that they're out there to kill each other, right?
Right.
They're there to kind of disable and break down the team.
Yeah.
But if there's someone that goes crazy, or maybe Bucky kills someone.
Right.
Like, a Cap unleashes Bucky, and Bucky, he could very well kill War Machine. It's been alluded to in the trailers.
Exactly.
And this is, again, something where it's like, it's the reverse of the comic book, where Cap is the one that's unleashed Bucky. And then you have a death of a friend or someone that you get people jumping sides now.
Yes.
Maybe you get, I don't know, Hawkeye leaving or Ant-Man leaving. Right. And then that's when you get down to it's just Bucky and Cap maybe on the Resistance side now. And that's where you get the breakup of the team. Because at some point, we know there's the airport battle. And at some point, there's got to be some big pivotal moment that breaks down this civil war beyond just the scuffle between sides into something very much more personal.
Yes.
Which is a little bit different than the way that the comic book event goes.
Right. I was also wondering, do you think we're going to get a training scene in here? Because there's a scene, a little banter between Scarlett Johansson, Black Widow, and Hawkeye, where it's kind of playful, but they're fighting. I wonder, are they training? Like, we're meant to think that they're all fighting each other, but maybe they're just sparring with each other?
Because Hawkeye's supposed to be kind of out, right?
Yeah.
And I don't know. A lot of that's... I'm so looking forward to
it. 2 weeks.
After reading this, too, I'm just like, there's so much I want to happen here.
Definitely.
So coming out of all of that, out of the big Thor incident, the death of Ben Foster, is we get a lot of volatility, and like we kind of already talked about this a bit, but questioning of allegiances and sides. Am I doing the right thing? We get Spider-Man leaping sides. We get people jumping and joining the Pro-Registration Act, and people leaving the Resistance and joining the Resistance. It's something. Do you think we're going to get someone flipping in the movie? Who could, if anyone, jump sides?
I think so. I think it could potentially be going again back to Black Widow.
Yeah.
I think we could possibly see her go from Iron Man's side and joining Cap, especially in Winter Soldier. They have such a great relationship, those two, right? Without it being a romantic interest.
Yeah.
So it could be very well that she goes back. There's kind of little signs of it in the trailer there too. So maybe she joins their side. Maybe Vision joins Cap with the interest of Scarlet Witch. So we'll see.
What do you think? Because Black Panther in this comic book event, he plays a small but pivotal role again.
Yes.
He says originally, I'm not choosing a side. Conda we're pulling ourselves back.
Yeah.
We're a little more political now, and he's kind of playing the king aspect. He's got his queen and Storm.
Yeah.
And he says, I'm not joining sides here. And he says, I've seen this go too far already.
Yes.
But then towards the end, we see him joining the Resistance to a degree and helping them infiltrate the Prison 42. What do you think his overall role is here? Because in Captain America Civil War, because we do see that there is something big going on between him and Bucky.
Yes.
Could Bucky be responsible for the death of T'Chaka, his father? Because I was thinking, Black Panther, the characterization that we see in this book, as well as throughout the comics, he's a lot like Steve Rogers, right? He has very, strong morals, and he, is always for his people. But again, it's protecting, because that was originally how he came into the Avengers, right? He was spying on them so that if he had to one day, he could defeat them.
Exactly.
If they ever became a threat.
Yeah.
And do you think he's going to have that same characterization, these very strong morals in Captain America Civil War? And is there potential for him to switch sides, do you think?
That's a good call, too, because he could potentially, I remember they did say, and you even touched on this before, that they had two scripts going on. One was Spider-Man, one without. With Spider-Man being in there, maybe he's going to kind of have the Spider-Man role in a sense that he's with Iron Man, and then he switches over to Tony Stark's side. I really do like the idea that you brought up with maybe Bucky did kill T'Challa's dad. Yeah. And so maybe now Black Widow or Black Panther is after the Winter Soldier.
That's the only aspect I see of him not being able to switch sides, is that he has so much resentment and hate for Bucky, and he wants this revenge specifically as the Black Panther, right? Maybe because the Black Panther is something that's passed through generations,
exactly, from king
and maybe Winter Soldier killed the original Black Panther, or T'Chaka the Black Panther, right? And it's about T'Challa as the Black Panther going out and chasing down and killing Bucky to avenge his father. Right. And so that's the only, when I think about that, maybe he really wouldn't switch sides, and maybe that's more of motivation why he's on Iron Man's side. Right. Both maybe from a political aspect and also from a more like, I need to get my revenge on Bucky.
Exactly. Yeah. So many possibilities, right?
Yeah. And again, all of it would be great, and you can see some of it developing and how they've gone through this book, and some really cool aspects that they could pull from it. But again, it's just all about where they want to take these characters in the future. Exactly. Because they have to be, just like these, they have to be very cognizant of the fact that there's going to be implications in this movie, just like there are in this book, for future books, for future characterization, right? Yes. And so they have to be very careful as to what they do, because if you set up Black Panther as something that he's not, and then we go into the Black Panther movie and he has the high morals and all this stuff, and in the movie he doesn't. Exactly. You got to make sure that characterization is consistent through. Exactly. And I think that's why I have to give my hat off to Kevin Feige, because he's done such a great job of keeping things consistent and thought out, even more so than the comic book. They really have an end game where everything's going, for the most part, right? So. Yeah. Then we have to build in Civil War here to this eventual final battle. Yes. And surrender of Captain America. The real surrender this time. Exactly. Because he did trick Iron Man the first time. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So the climax here is, we talked a bit about the Punisher. He helped them get the blueprints to Prison 42. And so they're going in there to essentially, they kind of trick Iron Man and end up in Prison 42, right, and end up unlocking or releasing all of the people that have been sent there. That's right, Venom and a whole bunch of other... Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And so this is something that, again, in the movie, we see that prison that comes up out of the water in one of the trailers. Yes. This could be the cinematic universes. It's either the Raft or model Prison 42, right? And so it'll be interesting to see if there are some implications here, or if it's just kind of alluded to the idea, because you do see in one of the trailers Tony standing in that prison. Yeah. And, is he there because he's putting people in, or this is like, if they don't register, this is where we're going to have to put Cap, this is where we're going to have to put Hawkeye. Right. And so there's just seem to be some aspects of that being pulled. But in the comic book here, this is where our final battle is. Yes. And it's a massive battle. Huge. And it's really well done, too. Yep. Eventually, this kind of spills out into New York City. Yeah. At one point, they kind of do this nice splash page where we have Captain America. They're standing back and they're looking, and he's seeing all the destruction. Yeah, and they're winning. They're on their final push to win this battle. And we see at one point, too, Vision put his hand right through Iron Man and disabling his suit. Yeah. We're right at the end of this. Yeah. Caps could lay the final blow here, and he puts down his shield and takes off his mask. Yeah. And says, this isn't the war I was fighting. That's right. And the civilians are stopping. Oh, yeah, I forgot that. Yeah, it's a huge part. Yeah, they're stopping Steve Rogers. And that's when he's really like, oh, man. He's going to lay the final blow, and the New Yorkers grab him and say, get off him, stop this. Then that's when Captain America really says, what am I doing here? Yeah. Like, this isn't me. This isn't what I set out to do. Yeah. Because he kind of looks around, and New York's destroyed. There's injured superheroes everywhere. This big divide. And so it's really great scene. It's a really great way to cap it all off. Definitely. No pun intended. And you see this surrender of Captain America. Yeah. And that really kind of ends off the 7-issue series. Right. As we see the surrender, and eventually Tony Stark is put in control, or as the director of S.H.I.E.L.D. S.H.I.E.L.D., that's right, yeah. As the head of the pro registration. And something that's alluded to a bit throughout is this idea of the 50-state initiative. Right. Where we have teams that are based in each individual state, and they're the protectors of that state.
That's right.
All controlled by the government.
That's right. And a lot of Cap's fellow members end up joining.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So they end up kind of falling in line. Looking at the trailers and that, we get this idea. We have this airport scene, which is obviously the big battle scene.
Yeah.
And then we seem to have this more personal fight between Bucky, Cap, and Iron Man.
Yes.
And
so, on display you have going on over there.
Yeah,
awesome.
So what do you think? Because the end battle here is large scale. We see big destruction where it seems like, unless they haven't shown it in the trailers or anything, but it seems like that the battle at the end of Civil War is a much more personal battle.
Yes.
Between Cap, Bucky, and Iron Man.
Yes.
Is Captain America going to go along the same path and surrender in the same way? Because if it's a more personal fight, is he just? I don't really know how it's yeah, exactly. It's going to trigger him surrendering and say, okay, it's time to take me in.
Right.
Or maybe they won't go that path.
That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah. So what do you think? What do you think they're going to do towards the end? Like, how do you think they're going to end the Civil War?
Yeah, it's going to be interesting, right? Because I mean, bringing it back again to the personal level, Russo's again did such a great job in Winter Soldier between Bucky and Cap fighting each other, and as a personal level is so good. This time now we're going to see Bucky and Cap against Iron Man, which we think is going to be the final scene. How it's going to all conclude though, I don't know. It's going to be interesting. Maybe they're going out of hand, and maybe Bucky's about to pull the trigger on Cap, and maybe or not on Cap, on Iron Man, and maybe that's kind of Cap right there being like, you know what, this is too far. You know, you can't pull the trigger. Who knows? Maybe, and then maybe that kind of brings things in perspective, and Cap kind of ends it right there and is like, all right, we're done here. Take me in. I don't know. It's going to be interesting.
Yeah, because that's the only part. Because I can see them pulling a lot of things from this comic book event, and like I had mentioned before, there's a lot of repercussions that come out of this. Specifically, the death of Captain America.
Yes.
And so that's after the issue 7. You can go straight into Captain America number 25 by Ed Brubaker in that Brubaker run that I absolutely love.
Yeah.
And then right after that, you go into the 5-issue Fallen Sun arc, which again is fantastic. It's a lot of heroes dealing with the death of Captain America. One really cool thing is it's 5 issues, and each issue is named after one of the stages of grief.
Yeah.
So we have denial, anger, bargaining, depression, and acceptance.
Wow.
And it runs through the Avengers, Captain America, Iron Man, Spider-Man, and Wolverine. And so it's those individual characters dealing with the outcome, the repercussions of the death of Captain America. And there's some very iconic splash pages, both in Captain America number 25 and the book that comes after the Fallen Sun called The Confession, which I would be shocked if they do not use in the movie. I really think, and I know I've kind of alluded to this for weeks and weeks and weeks, I really, really think they're going to do the death of Captain America story arc.
Yeah.
Or at some form of it.
Right.
Which, again, would require him to surrender in some capacity.
Yeah.
And so he dies on the courtroom steps. He's assassinated. So he has Crossbones shoots him once with a sniper rifle, not the kill shot. And then Sharon Carter, Agent 13, who's also in Captain America Civil War.
That's right.
The love interest, kind of the girl, the nurse or whatever down the hall from him in Winter Soldier, played by Emily Van Camp. And she actually puts 2 bullets in his stomach, like she's brainwashed or whatever. So this is the whole story with Zemo, who's also in Civil War. We have never really talked about. Like, I have no idea how his arc is going to fit into this. And Red Skull have all planned kind of, this is how we get Captain America. But he dies on the courtroom steps, which is an iconic scene. It's just beautifully drawn. And I absolutely love it. And I think they're going to do that. Like, this
page by page,
they're going to do, because Crossbones is in this movie as well. And
he wants revenge.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And so a lot of the right pieces are there to do this. And I just think this would be such a great way. Cap's my boy. He's my favorite character. But to end the trilogy like this, and we all know eventually he'll probably come back. But to end the trilogy like this and see the repercussions felt in the subsequent movies, in your Spider-Man, in your Black Panthers. And doing kind of like a Fallen Sun-esque arc through your cinematic movies where it's these characters in the background, they're still dealing with the death. And this humongous change, this giant status quo change in the cinematic universe, it's just being rippled right through into Infinity War.
It'd be like an Empire Strikes Back.
Exactly. This is a way you do that. I don't want them to go down the route of, we fight, we shake hands, we fight Zemo at the end, See you later. We're into other movies.
Man of Steel.
I don't,
or BVS.
Yeah. I don't think this is the path to go on this.
Yeah.
They have to finish this like the comic books. I think they have to pull a lot from it. And I'm really expecting them to do this. Do you think they're going to go down this path?
I don't know if they're going to go page by page.
Just
the general idea, though.
Yeah.
I really do hope they... Because, Captain America is my favorite character in this Marvel Cinematic Universe. I guess Spidey's in there now, though, so it might be a little different. But anyways, I really do hope they end up killing him off. Just to give us, like, that extra, like, serious tone that we've been missing, lacking from this universe, right? Because everything's kind of been a little happy-go-lucky. I really think they need this because they kind of struck out with Age of Ultron and going off the path of, even from Winter Soldier to now, they've been kind of keeping that continuity, that consistency of importance. And I really, really hope they strike it with this one. Yeah. I think they will go down that path.
And to kick off phase 3 like this, you completely change the tone of the rest of it. Thor Ragnarok's going to be probably darker again. You're changing the tone in that. And so that kind of all picks up on this building to this massive saga.
Yes.
But this is just such a way to kick off phase 3.
Exactly. And like you said, having these repercussions going on in other movies, I think Robert Downey Jr. could carry that so well. Yeah. Feeling that guilt.
Exactly.
He does it in the trailer already, right? So to see him carry that on, oh man, I love it.
So one of the other things that kind of spun out of all this was this idea of the initiative. So we talked a little bit about this and the instillment of Tony Stark as the director of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yes.
And being that we don't have a S.H.I.E.L.D. in the movie universe anymore, well, there's a small one in the TV show. Do you think we could see the rebirth of S.H.I.E.L.D. and Tony Stark as the head of it coming out of this? And this is maybe how he fits in to the greater Marvel Cinematic Universe, is that he's the head of maybe not S.H.I.E.L.D., but some organization, some governing body of either superheroes or something to that effect. Yeah. That's his legacy now is, he's trying to make things, he's trying to do things better and different.
Yeah, bigger.
And bigger.
Yeah, which has always been Tony Stark's mentality, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so I really think that there's going to be some aspect of this. And, maybe Spider-Man's working for Tony Stark as some sort of new Avenger or something, or a mighty Avenger in the Spider-Man solo movie. Right.
Well, that kind of goes back to what we were talking about last episode, where it's like, if Tony does take on this whole new order, the helicarrier, the S.H.I.E.L.D., and Spider-Man's kind of like the new Avenger, the young Avenger, and he kind of trains the younger guys, and kind of like the ultimate Spider-Man, where he's constantly in training to become the ultimate Spider-Man, the next best hero. So I really do like that approach if they do decide to go that route.
It could be a really interesting evolution of the character of Tony Stark.
Yes.
And it's something different, and it's a nice way to have this common character who seemingly, like we said, wants to be part of this universe for the foreseeable future.
Exactly.
And he's a great presence on screen, and like you said, he could carry that guilt.
Oh yeah.
There's another excellent splash page in the book The Confession.
Oh
and it's Captain America lying dead he's up in a helicarrier, but he's on just a steel platform.
Yeah.
He's got a shield on his chest. He's in tatters, and you got Iron Man sitting next to him.
Yeah, helmet off
in the Iron Man suit, looking at it, and says, "It wasn't worth it. Like all this wasn't worth it."
Yeah.
But then you look at Captain America, and it looks like what he came out of in Avengers #4 when he came out of the block of ice.
Oh,
tattered,
that's so
shield
cool.
on the chest.
Yeah.
And we saw this in Avengers, this exact scene where it's not Tony Stark, but it's basically Chris Evans lying on a table with the shield on his chest. I really, really think that one of the last scenes is going to be a pullback. It's going to be Tony Stark doing some sort of confession to a dead Steve Rogers and saying, "I'm sorry, it wasn't worth it. I'm going to do better."
Yeah.
Something to that effect.
Oh, that'd be incredible.
Because this is another one of these iconic pages that I absolutely love. It's just this image. It's 2 full spread pages, and it's the end of Tony Stark's confession.
Yeah.
Of everything. And this is like what I said talking before. It's his confession that he knew this was happening, and he knew what side he was gonna fall on, knew what Steve was gonna fall on, and he didn't do anything really to stop it.
Right. That's incredible.
Yeah. And that really caps off kind of, again,
pun intended this time.
Yeah, we'll say intended this time. So that's really the end of the Captain America Civil War event. And like we said, we had the Fallen Sun, we got a couple of these other issues, and then we go into the Brubaker run is we see someone else pick up the shield. So in the Captain America Fallen Sun book, we actually see Hawkeye returning,
that's cool.
And him putting on the flag and the shield for like a quarter of an issue.
Wow, same kind of costume, eh?
It was the exact same costume.
Nice, yeah.
And because there's a line in it where Iron Man says, "You better not give that to the Secret Avengers. I want it back."
Yeah,
like the actual costume.
Cool.
Because he gives them the shield right away.
Yeah.
And so Iron Man's out there hunting to carry on this mantle. Yeah. And there's a really cool scene in, I believe, the one of the books here, and it's the funeral of Captain America.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And we see kind of the 6 pallbearers trying to get the thing, Black Panther.
Oh, yeah.
And you see where he's buried, and you get... So he has the same kind of procession that a president would get. It's kind of this solo white horse carrying down in Washington. He's buried on this big monument.
Yeah.
And you get this view of like thousands and thousands of people showing up to his funeral. Again, another fantastic splash page that I could see them doing in Civil War.
That's incredible. Do you think coming out of this with the movie, we could maybe even get a little bit of an introduction to the Illuminati, or at least the Marvel Cinematic Universe? You know, we have Hank Pym. We have obviously Tony Stark. We're going to have Dr. Stephen Strange.
T'Challa could be one of those,
right?
Yeah, he's been in it before. Yeah. So there's and you can even throw like a Bruce Banner in there if you really wanted to.
Yeah, exactly. Even Thunderbolt Ross, I would believe it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So that's something, when we talked about movies or comics that we thought should be movies, the Illuminati was a concept that I was like, I really want this in the cinematic universe. Again, that is something that I could see them developing on, right? And I'm speculating because I love this era of comic books, and so I'm hoping that we do see a lot of this. And again, the Illuminati would be fantastic to see. Incredible.
Yeah, only to be infiltrated by a Skrull one day.
Yeah, that would be my Phase 4 dream.
Right? Yeah, absolutely.
So let's wrap this discussion up with a bit of box office predictions. Yeah. Next week, or this coming week, a lot of you guys in Brazil and a few other places are getting Captain America Civil War early. So instead of doing a prediction next week where we have some indication of how well it was doing overseas, we're going to lay it down right now. So we always usually do a prediction of sorts as far as box office. Where do you think this is going to land? Is it going to top Batman vs. Superman?
Definitely. Batman was 169, 170?
Yeah, 166, I think.
Yeah, and what was Age of Ultron again?
191.
191, and Star Wars was 250.
Yeah.
I got this capped about two.
It's so hard not to use it, right? I never meant to use it once, and I was thinking it's funny because I was doing a couple notes before, and I was like, I cannot say this because it sounds stupid. And it sounds like a dumb pun.
Yeah, I see it 205, 210.
205.
Yeah. I think. The feedback's been great all around. Everyone's loving this. Word of mouth. I think it's going to go. And we got Spiderman in here now, too.
Yeah, it's a big one.
It's a big one. I'm going to go with the 205, 210.
Yeah. So you're anchoring it with Captain America Civil War, same director as this Winter Soldier. Yeah. So you have that going for it.
Exactly.
You have Iron Man in it.
Yep.
You have Spider-Man in it. You have Black Panther. And then you have the rest of the Avengers.
Exactly.
Including Ant-Man.
Including Ant-Man, and it's Civil War. The title just right there. Everybody... most people, the general audience loves this book. So, I'm going to go with about 205, 210. I got that 170 last time with the BVS. Yeah. So maybe I'm on a streak right here.
See.
So we'll see.
That's interesting because I was debating here. I was like, will this top out over 200?
Right.
So there's only been a couple movies that did that. There was Avengers 1, Jurassic World, Star Wars Force Awakens.
Yes.
Could this be number 4?
Right.
I think that's a very, very good chance.
Yeah.
My initial estimate, I would have put it at, so I threw one down a week or so ago, and I was thinking about 190.
Nice, that's pretty good.
And now I'm thinking this is going to do better than Age. I think this is going to do better than Age of Ultron.
Yeah.
And so I'm going to put it at 202.
Nice.
Is my prediction.
Yeah.
It's just going to get over the $200 million mark, and we're talking about North America box office.
Nice.
And so globally, I think this thing is going to be in the running for probably the top movie. It's going to be jumping back and forth with Rogue One. Yeah. Depending on how that's received.
Yeah. And the marketing, because they haven't done too much yet for that one.
No, I think they'll probably wait till we get kind of a bit closer. Like we said, Force Friday is going to be the kickoff. That's September. So we got 3 months, 4 months there.
Definitely.
But I think this, this is my personal opinion, not the Nerd Room's opinion, but I think this is going to be the comic book movie of the year.
I'm thinking so too. Going off of predictions, because I don't know if we're doing any more much Civil War talk before we see the movie. Do you have any predictions for post-credit scenes?
Oh, interesting. Yeah. So the one I would love to see, Hulk being blasted off into space.
Absolutely.
Do I think it's going to happen? Probably slim chance.
Yeah.
They're probably going to go with some sort of Doctor Strange, which would be really cool if they did a Illuminati sequence.
Yes.
Where they walk in. And so this post-credit sequence would essentially be after the Doctor Strange movie.
Yes.
So we have an established Doctor Strange
at
the time. Him in his full cloak and gear and all that. And he walks in, and let's just say Black Panther sticks with Tony, and these guys are sitting around the table, and then they say something like, all right, let's discuss this. How are we going to deal with this? And it's just that. And maybe it could be something about the Infinity Gems or something comes up. How cool would that be? Those two are the ones that I would like to see.
Yeah.
Is it going to be something more simple? Because the most recent post-credit sequence, like say Ant-Man, was just a scene out of Civil War.
That's right.
That referenced Ant-Man in it. Or is the Russos going to take the opportunity to seed more of the Infinity War saga? Because that's what they're directing next, right? Mm-hmm. Or they can take the opportunity and say, no, we want to see our own thing.
Yeah.
Not Doctor Strange or whatever.
Exactly. Yeah, it's interesting. I'm kind of with you with the Illuminati thing. I'm thinking, depending if they do go the route of killing Captain America, maybe they'll show us some kind of nod that Cap's on the way back. He's coming back, or maybe a little something to do with Spider-Man, but I think they'll kind of save that more for the Sony stuff. So my idea is, maybe either Illuminati kind of thing or a little more of a nod to Cap's resurrection, maybe.
Or what about Buck or someone picking up the shield?
Yes, exactly. Like that's really cool.
You just get Dark, the shield's there, and you see someone pick it up, and then you get some indication if it's Falcon or if it's
metal
Bucky.
Arm.
Yeah, just a metal arm picking up the shield.
Yeah.
And then it just black.
Yeah.
Like that's it. No words, nothing.
Sold. Yeah, I like that one a lot. Yeah. Or even if it's Buck doing the classic, he kicks the shield.
Yeah.
Metal arm grabs the shield and done. Yeah.
That would
I would like that. That'd be enough for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. No Schwarm machine scenes, that's for sure.
No, I think this one has to be a big one.
Yeah.
And, I have this feeling in the pit of myself that I'm getting my hopes up. That it's not going to be as big as I want it to be.
Yeah.
But at the same time, there is potential there to swing, like we said, Illuminati, picking up the shield, Hulk, something alluding to, something to do with Captain America.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's endless possibilities.
Yeah, so many possibilities, right? So many, so we'll see. Can't wait. Looking forward to it.
Yeah, and if you guys, hopefully you didn't listen to this and then have not read the comic books. But if you have, I would recommend going out and getting these. As a reader, fantastic. The trades are great. And right now, they're going to be a little more difficult to get. But going back and getting the Civil War series in the single issues, some of these Captain America books, the Fallen Sun stuff, if they go the route of the death of Captain America, I know collecting comics isn't about making money or anything like that, and I would never advocate that, but these are going to disappear.
Yeah.
They are going to be very, very difficult to get if they go this route. They may not, and they might just kind of piddle off, but I really, really think they're going to go this route. So especially Captain America 25, the Fallen Sun stuff, and the main Civil War books. Grab them if you can. If you do see them at a local con or something, and they're reasonably priced, grab them.
Yeah, I'm looking at them right now, guys. The cover art's incredible for these books here. They look
so
great.
Good.
So good. Last kind of thing. Sorry, I just kind of thought about. What if we see Red Skull at the end? What if they bring that guy back, Hugo Weaving?
Yeah,
I'd love to see that guy come
back.
Because
we have this Hydra thing in the background with Baron Zemo.
Right.
There's some indications of Hydra symbols around.
Yeah,
and there's still that thread with Bucky was controlled by Hydra at some point, right? So there's all this stuff that because we haven't been watching TV slots, I know there's been a Baron Zemo scene that's been shown.
Oh, okay.
But I never watched it.
Right.
I don't know if is he going to end up in the mask or whatever.
Right, yeah, the cloth, whatever.
Exactly. Yeah, they get glued to his face. But yeah, again, more possibilities. And again, it's hitting on this Captain America theme that Captain America fights Hydra. I just love it all.
Can't wait.
So that's pretty much it for Civil War. And we're not going to be really talking very much Civil War next week because we're going to have to go internet silent looking at Civil War related stuff because the movie coming out overseas and that. And I'm staying far away from this. And you guys, if you do us a huge favor, just save it for a week at least.
Yeah, definitely.
Don't be posting spoilers. I know our boy Izzy, he was a bit worried about people he's like really worried about getting spoiled because his home country in Brazil comes out a week early and he's really, really concerned about getting spoiled. So if you could save spoiling the rest of us here that unfortunately aren't going to see it for an extra week, we would thoroughly appreciate that.
Yes.
Because just think of it in reverse order. We would never do that to you guys.
Definitely not. And so going off of Civil War movie, we're going to do a big kind of review. We're going to try and have the whole crew.
In a couple weeks. So next week is probably going to do something kind of a con wrap up or something like that. And maybe there'll be a new trailer or something. I don't know.
Yeah. And
then the following week, so the Thursday following the release, so a week after the release in North America, we'll be dropping what is going to be our largest panel review to date.
Can't wait.
And so we're going to have a bunch of the guys on and we're going to do a big, big talk. It'll be like we did with Deadpool. It's going to be no news or anything like that. It's going to be pure review of the movie.
Nice.
We're going to go through each and every single aspect of that movie.
Can't wait.
And we'll relate it back to this episode too to see where you and I were correct. It was some of the stuff from the comic book event in there. What was our favorite parts about what they adapted? And so we'll kind of round this whole discussion out because we've been talking Civil War for a couple of weeks now and MCU stuff like that. So it'll be good to kind of round this conversation up with finally seeing the movie. So hopefully next week or that coming week, I'm getting the Collector's Court box, the Civil War one.
Yeah.
So maybe we'll pop that open too.
Yeah, unboxing.
And so, yeah, really, really looking forward to the big panel review.
Yeah, can't wait.
Getting all the guys back together.
Can't wait. And wish me luck, guys. I'm on my way to look for a Black Series Anakin Skywalker at the Expo. So hopefully I find it.
Have our eyes peeled. So, and we'll be kicking around. We're just making up t-shirts. My wife's kind of constructing us some t-shirts. Cool. I think we're going to do some kind of glasses too with some Nerd Room stuff on the side. So if we do see you guys, if you recognize the shirt or the symbol or whatever, I'm going to have a whole backpack. I know I said t-shirts, but never really got around to it. But we will be doing the sunglasses. Cool. So we'll chuck you guys some sunglasses. If you do come by and see us, recognize us, just say hi or whatever. Want to talk comics or movies or Star Wars or whatever. Yeah. We're going to be around.
That's what we're here for.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. We're going to be around for a couple of days. So just come by, say hi. You know, we're talking about a couple of us going to grab them a beer at some point too. Yeah. So maybe we'll toss it on Twitter and see if you guys want to come and join us for some post-con bevies.
That'd be awesome. I'd love that. Yeah. Talk speculation.
Yeah. Man. We love it all.
Definitely.
So, all right, man, it's been fantastic.
Always.
I love talking comics.
Yeah.
Love talking Captain America.
Oh, yeah, always, yeah. The Spidey, and, you know, I always like to throw in a little bit of Batman as much as I can. Yeah. In a good way.
It's fantastic.
Yeah, Star Wars, all that good stuff, guys.
Yeah. So, again, if you guys got any questions or want to get at us, our Twitter handles are at the end of the episode. You can always get us at #EnterTheNerdRoom. We have emails, thenerdrm@gmail.com. Right. Fire us any sort of questions. We're happy to respond. We'll read them out in the show. Anything you want. Yeah. Just relate to comic book movies. Yeah. Even if it's not, like we said before.
Yeah. Tweet us your collection of figures. We'd love to see what you guys are carrying over there. That'd be awesome.
We're always looking for new ways to display stuff too. Some different ideas. What do you guys have out there to display? We'd love to see your nerd rooms.
Absolutely. We'd love to, because I know you and Izzy were having that little action figure battle. It's awesome. It's awesome.
Yeah, so we'd like to see more of that participation. Get everyone involved. You know, it's about building this community, and that's really what we want to do around the Nerd Room is have a community. So look out for a lot of the stuff that we're doing here in the future. And again, looking forward to come back and reviewing the movie.
Oh yeah, can't wait, guys.
So until next week, for the Nerd Room, I'm Tim.
I'm Troy.
And thank you for entering the Nerd Room. All right, screw it. I'm phoning Sanjay. We're not doing this bullshit anymore.
We really need that door.
Oh, okay. He says he might be around for a call. Okay, here we go. We're calling him. Better pick up your damn phone. We're leaving you an on-air message if you don't pick up.
Sanjay, buddy.
My God.
Hi, you've reached the voicemail of Sanjay. I'm unable to come to the phone right now, so please leave a message and I'll return your call. Thank you.
Sanjay, buddy. You're getting a live recorded voicemail here. You said you're going to pick up your damn phone. Do the door thing.
We need the door thing.
We can't do it on our own. It sounds like crap, and it doesn't sound as good. You know, it just doesn't fit.
I just don't have that falsetto.
Yeah, are you still, like, people are asking about you. Are you okay? Are you out there still? I know you got a lot going on, but come on. Everyone, they're asking for it.
Just shut the door, Sanjay. Yeah. Just shut the door.
Shut it, okay? All right, Sanjay, we're out.
We're out.
Don't forget to subscribe and rate and review us on iTunes. You can find our hosts, Tim, Sanjay, and Troy, on Twitter at TheNerdRM, 1912 Podcasting, and Troy, the Boy, 87.